150,000 race fans who have gathered here at Michigan Speedway for the Pepsi 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. Points leader Dale Jarrett hopes to repeat his performance of 2 months ago and his performance in 1991. Back on the outside. It's going to be a photo finish. They touch coming down through the triangle at the line. Who wins it? I believe Jarrett.
That magical moment 8 years ago here at Michigan signified the start of Dale Jarrett's successful Winston Cup career and the beginning of a dream that he too, like his famous father, would one day be known as NASCAR's Winston Cup champion. Early on, his quest for the Cup would prove to be far from easy. It would take time, teamwork, talent, and total commitment to turn heads and laps faster than the competition. Finally, this year, the wins and almost weekly shower of points have him poised to capture the Cup. Ironically today, the Jarrett juggernaut can roll one step closer to fulfilling that dream, right here where it all began just 8 years ago. Since that day in August of 1991, Dale Jarrett has added 2 more Michigan wins to his resume, including a dominating performance here 2 months ago in which he led 150 of 200 circuits and lapped all but 4 other cars in the field. Today he returns to Michigan armed with the same car that crushed him in June and blitzed them at the Brickyard 400 2 weeks ago. With a comfortable 300-point lead and just 13 races remaining, he doesn't really need to win if he can just do what he did at Watkins Glen. Stay clean, out of trouble, and log a top 5 finish. It'll probably be his championship to lose. However, one miscue or mechanical failure could suddenly stir a feeding frenzy among those who remain in the title chase.
Racing is often a puzzling portrait of heroic faces and hectic races winding up in noble places. The seamless circle of practice, performance, and pursuit has 4-time Michigan winner Mark Martin second in points. Bobby Labonte has 2 wins at this track, but inconsistency makes you wonder what's ahead. Brilliant success or bitter struggle. Jeff Burton has 4 straight top 10 finishes at Michigan, but needs another win to recharge his batteries. Jeff Gordon has more wins than anyone. That's nothing new. But has he lost his grip on the sport's top prize, and is Dale Jarrett ready to tighten his grasp on the trophy? Gordon won last week, leaving fans wondering, can Wonder Boy close the gap in a single bound? Well, there are no tall buildings to leap, but there are some mountains to move. For example, the question now, who's the biggest threat to Jarrett's big lead? Well, Martin, Labonte, and Burton are the closest contenders, but they've never been to the mountaintop. Jeff Gordon has. The reigning king of the hill is 482 behind, but has a lot of ground ahead. If you think that sounds like hype, take a look at history. Gordon won last week, won here last year, won 5 of the last 11 races in 1998, and finished second in 4 others. Points should be a postscript to racing, not the purpose. The reason to race is to win. That's exactly what these guys must do to have any chance at catching the one car that has been faster than a speeding bullet.
While those guys are busy chasing Dale Jarrett in the points championship battle, Ward Burton hopes that everybody chases him today. He won the pole position on Friday afternoon by shattering the 2-month-old track qualifying record by almost 2 miles an hour. He was second fastest in happy hour, but crew chief Tommy Baldwin decided to make a change to the car this morning. All he'll say is they made some changes to the front geometry. The new tires being used today have caused the cars to be very loose. Baldwin thinks the changes that they have made will make the car more comfortable to drive, allowing Ward to pull away from the field. And we'll see in a few moments if that change worked as we're ready to get this race underway.
The district manager from Meijer, Bob Bly. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Races to go in the 1999 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Dale Jarrett lengthening his lead over Mark Martin by 300 now as a result of last weekend at Watkins Glen. The only change in the top 5, Jeff Gordon moves to the 5th position, and Tony Stewart dropped down to 6th. Hi, everyone. Hi, Bob Jenkins, along with Jarrett, and happy to have BP back with us in the booth. We've been coming here to Michigan for many, many years. Have seen some great races. But, Ned, there's something different about today's race we've never seen before.
Well, certainly different from when they were here in June. The drivers were complaining about the cars being tight in June. And as a result, Goodyear has made a new tire. They've restructured the tire, put some more stagger in it, which gives it a loose condition going into the corners here, Benny. And loose conditions going into those corners 200 miles an hour, that's not too good.
That's not too good, and no one really has a handle on exactly what's going to happen. You know, we'll probably see the same guys up front that we usually see, but just maybe, somebody that's never won a West Cup race before will be able to make that perfect combination day and get out there and win his first race, because right now it's really a toss-up as to who has the right combination.
Well, the 43 cars and drivers are fired to life as we get set for 200 laps of racing here. The tires may have caused many of the cars to be loose, but they have also made them very fast. In fact, 10 drivers broke the previous track record, led, of course, by Ward Burton. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, and the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, NASCAR, invite you to sit back and enjoy the afternoon as we have live coverage of the Pepsi 400 from Michigan Speedway near Brooklyn. It's a beautiful day, and the crowd is ready. We're ready. In just a moment, come back with us for the starting lineup and the green flag. ESPN's live coverage of the Pepsi 400 from Michigan Speedway is being brought to you by Pepsi, the choice of Michigan Speedway. By Team Monte Carlo, the cars more champions trust. And by EverStart Battery, all the cold breaking power your truck, car, boat, or mower will ever need. Available at Walmart. And there's the overhead shot of the cars as they proceed through turn number 4 on the first of a couple of warm-up laps. We're on a 2-mile oval. The front stretch, 3,600 feet. The back stretch, 2,242. And the banking in the corners is at 18 degrees, while on the front stretch, the tri-oval part of the racetrack, it's 12 degrees, and the back stretch is nearly flat. All right, let's check the starting lineup now for today's Pepsi 400 from the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Ward Burton has his first pole of 1999, and Mike Skinner has his best start here at Michigan. Dale Jarrett won this race in June. Jeffrey Bodine won in 1994. Jeremy Mayfield had a 7th place last year. Ricky Rudd is in his 46th straight Michigan event. Mark Martin has 4 wins at this facility. John Andretti, the top 10 in the last 2 Michigan races. Jeff Gordon, only 1 Michigan win, but 10 top 5s in 13 races, and Rusty Wallace will start in the 10th position. Back in row number 6, it's Ted Musgrave and Steve Park, career best 6th finish in June here at this facility. Hut Strickland starts in the 13th position, a good qualifying run for him, and then Mr. Michigan, Bill Elliott, who has 7 wins at this racetrack, more than any other active driver.
Back in row 9 this afternoon, Dick Trickle and Chad Little. Trickle's substituting for Ernie Irvin, involved in the crash on Friday. See Dale Earnhardt Jr. in row 9. There, row 10, Bobby Labonte and Michael Waltrip.
And as we look at the rest of the starting lineup, we couldn't have asked for better weather here today. The clouds are beginning to build up just a little bit, but there is no threat of rain. It's a relatively cool upper 70s, high expected in the low 80s later this afternoon. And back here are some of these guys, Ned, that may not have found the speed in qualifying, but had good happy hours and maybe threats during the race.
Yeah, there were a number of cars that starting back towards the back that were good in happy hour. And just like Benny talked about, somebody get the right setup and they can come to the front. They can pass a lot of race cars. This track is wide, so they can pass. Tony Stewart was one of those that really looked to be dialed in during the happy hour.
Check those. Terry Labonte, Kyle Petty, Johnny Benson, all these guys had to take provisionals. As we talked about, just not able to find that right combination. And Ned, you're right. The best part about this racetrack is it is so wide.
Darrell Waltrip, Brett Bowden, Darrell Stannard, and Tom Hubert missed the field and were not able to qualify for it. Darrell Waltrip, of course, will not have another provisional until we get to Darlington. Now let's check the onboard cameras that will complement our coverage.
Here's our Exide Matters onboard camera with Jeff Burton starting back in the 26th position. This is Kenny Wallace, the State Fair Corn Dogs onboard camera. He starts in 23rd. Bobby Labonte has our Circuit City onboard camera. He starts in 19th this afternoon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be right along with them from the 17th position in the Budweiser onboard camera. Bill Elliott has the McDonald's drive-through camera. He'll be starting in 14th. And Rusty Wallace, a Miller Lite Ford, starts 10th this afternoon here at Michigan Speedway. Mark Martin, everyone says this is the guy to look for. The Valvoline Ford starts 7th. And
Ricky Rudd, the tied on board outside the third row in sixth. And Ed, here's a guy a little special to you.
Well, BJ will be carrying a camera here this afternoon. Be interesting to see how, I know they made a lot of changes on his car, as most of the others did, see how it's going to work out.
Well, we'll go 200 laps, 400 miles here this afternoon. The purse almost $2 million, and barring any cautions, and cautions have been few and far between here in both the Winston Cup and Busch races recently. They should need fuel between laps 48 and 55, and Dale Jarrett has the race record in June of 1999. An Ernie Irvan update from the doctor.
And, Bob, I had the distinct pleasure this morning of speaking with Ernie Irvan from his hospital bed in St. Joseph's Mercy Hospital in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And Ernie said, number one, he wanted to thank all the millions of fans he knows who have kept him and Kim and Jordan and their whole family in their prayers the past 2 days. The good news is he's doing much, much better. They're thinking about possibly discharging him in the next day or so. He thought it might be today, but it will not be. And all our thoughts and prayers are with Ernie. In fact, the team has a sign here to tell Ernie how they will feel. Get well, Ernie, and come back in a hurry. Bob?
And certainly from all of us on the ESPN broadcast team, we wish Ernie Irvan the best and hope that you're back in the cockpit very, very shortly. The pace car is off the field. We're getting set for the start of the Pepsi 400. As the crowd is on its feet, the green flag is in the air, and Ward Burton and Mike Skinner lead them down to turn one. Back for about fourth and fifth position as Ward Burton leads lap number one. That's the 8th race that Ward has led in 1999. His most recent time out front was in the July race at Pocono. Mike Skinner running second.
And Skinner's trying to go for the lead. Down the backstretch, there's a low Chevrolet on the inside of the Cat Pontiac. Can he hold it? He goes to the corner. He has the lead now. Does he drift up the racetrack? Does Ward Burton come back? Let's see.
He's going to try. Got a nose up alongside now. He brought some behind Skinner, and looks like Skinner will be able to lead this second lap.
Dale Jarrett running in third position. Jeffrey Bodine fourth. Mark Martin is fifth. Ricky Rudd running in the sixth position. And there is Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace running side by side for the seventh spot. Now Gordon takes it.
Slides up the racetrack. We see those cars switching a little bit. That's the complaint they're having. The cars are a little bit loose. Anytime you see the cars twitching, that's what they're talking about, being loose. Right along with Rusty Wallace as he follows Bill Elliott. That's for the 10th position. Here's Bobby Labonte down the very bottom of the racetrack. And here comes DJ trying to take over second from Ward Burton. Mark Martin's on the inside of Jeffrey Bodine back there for the fourth spot.
On board with Mark Martin, we look up ahead and see that Dale Jarrett is just about to complete the pass and go into second spot, taking it from Ward Burton. He has down the backstretch. We heard in NASCAR today that Tommy Baldwin Jr. has made adjustments to Ward Burton's car overnight. Didn't know whether it would be good or bad. Well, he led the first lap, but now it's slipped back a little bit, Jerry.
Exactly, Bob. And what they did, they made some major changes, which involved moving the truck arms or the trailing arms to try to get the car tighter entering the corner. The big concern they had is would it make it too tight leaving the corner. That's exactly what has happened in the first couple laps here. Ward Burton has complained that the car is simply plowing coming off the corner.
There goes Mark Martin to the inside of Ward Burton, trying to take over the third position.
Mark's car was working good yesterday in happy hour. Appears to be working good here in the early part of the race today. You see, he can keep it right down on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where he likes to run on this racetrack.
As a matter of fact, these two guys, Mark Martin and Ward Burton, were the two fastest in happy hour, and the third fastest was Tony Stewart, who had a real struggle during qualifying. but got things dialed in for the race. Apparently, he chose to work on the race setup and take a provisional to get into the race, so we'll watch for him move up through the traffic. Jeff Gordon takes the high side of the racetrack, trying to get the spot from Jeffrey Bodine.
That's a battle for the 5th spot. Jeff Gordon takes it away from Jeffrey Bodine, but no problem.
So he started in 9th place, now has moved up to 5th place, working on Ward Burton. So Gordon appears to have a very good race car now. Of course, he normally does have a good race car.
And that black car back there behind Jeremy Mayfield is Hut Strickland, who has a great run going in the unsponsored number 58 car.
Good to see Hut back in competition and back in contention, as a matter of fact, as we now take a look at Bobby Labonte on the low side of Sterling Marlin as they try to figure out who's going to run in 12th spot.
And Bobby Labonte had started in the 19th position, so he's moving towards the front.
Dives in on the inside of Sterling Marlin, trying to take that spot away, and just with ease drives right by.
Here comes Jeff Gordon to the inside of Ward Burton, and he takes 4th position. Jeff Gordon does. These shots from the Pennzoil copter cam hovering overhead at Michigan Speedway. They go down the backstretch and head for turn number 3. And now Jeff Gordon sets his sights on Mark Martin, who's just up ahead.
Jeff Gordon is running in the middle of the racetrack, entering the corner in the middle, and comes off awfully high. Mark Martin is running on the very bottom of the racetrack.
On board with Mark is bumper cam looking back to Jeff Gordon. Mike Skinner with about a 0.6 of a second lead on Dale Jarrett. And look at this mess back here. The 25 of Wally Dallenbach. There's the 20 of Tony Stewart on the low side of the track, right behind Dale Earnhardt.
And there's Matt Kenseth in the DeWalt car. The first race started in his own race car.
And we understand that maybe Kevin LePage might have, he came very close to the wall. He might not have hit him, but he came very close. And Tony Stewart has moved all the way up to the 29th position from his 37th starting position. So he's another one moving towards the front.
There is Tony to the low side of Joe Nemechek, and it was announced this weekend that Joe Nemechek would not be back with Felix Sabates and that team in the year 2000, rather. So Dale Earnhardt now goes to the inside of the 77 of Robert Presley, battling for the 23rd position.
And Dale Earnhardt started back in 38, so he has got a quite impressive charge going himself.
Just like we anticipated, some of the guys figured it out in happy hour last night, although they didn't have a good qualifying run and are coming through the field from the back. But up front and setting a pace of more than 179 miles an hour is Mike Skinner over Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Ward Burton with 10 laps complete. In the early stages of the Pepsi 400, Ward Burton led lap number 1 from the pole position, but then at the end of the backstretch on lap 2, Mike Skinner took the lead as Bill Davis, Ward's car owner, looked on. And now the Lowe's team finds their driver out front, but there is certainly a serious challenge on the racetrack from Dale Jarrett as he comes off corner number 4 and down through the tri-oval. He and Mike Skinner are side by side, and Jarrett goes to the front.
He got those 5 bonus points on that last lap. He was just a bumper ahead of the number 31 car. Bill Weber has more.
Well, Ned, as we all saw, Dale Jarrett's car was uncooperative, or too cooperative maybe, in happy hour yesterday. It wanted to turn into the turns too quickly. He really couldn't get into the turns the way he wanted to. The right front was turning too early for him. Well, from 4:30 last night till 9 o'clock, stopping briefly for dinner, he and Todd Parrott talked over what to do with the race car. I asked Todd Parrott about 7:30 this morning, can you tell me what you did? He said no, but if it works, I'll let you know. Early in this race, Jarrett said, it feels pretty good. A few laps later, he said, I'm tied off, but we can work on that. Good news for the 88. Let's check in with Jerry Fine.
This morning, Larry McReynolds and Mike Skinner talked about what they would do today. They ended up deciding on a rubber in the right front, some shock changes, and that's fixed the condition of being loose entering the corner. But just like Ward Burton, the 31 car now is tight off the corner. They plan a track bar adjustment on their first pit stop, which should come, if we stay green, around lap 50 or 51. But until then, Mike Skinner must just...
I think that tight situation right now, there's a cloud over the sun, has the track completely under shade, and that normally will tighten the track up a little bit.
Tony Stewart now in 19th, BP.
He was able to pass Dale Earnhardt. He and Earnhardt worked their way through that traffic together, and Earnhardt stayed in front and kind of led Stewart through the traffic. Now, after we got through the traffic, Tony says, "Thanks, Dale. See ya."
And that's Ricky Craven running way up on the high side of the track. It's like much different than Earnhardt and Tony Stewart.
There's several cars that have gone straight to the top of the racetrack trying to keep these back ends under control. Michael Waltrip is another one in the 7 car.
Michael is running in 15th at the moment.
There's Jeff Burt trying to work his way to the front. Started back in 26th position as he tries to get along the car of Sterling Marlin. Sterling started back in 18th, so Jeff Burton is down there.
He's fighting for 12th right there with Sterling Marlin. So both of them have made good advances. From 99 of Burton has picked up a few more positions than has Sterling. You can see the chart there, his progress.
And there we see Michael Waltrip I was talking about. Now Jeff's going to try it on the outside. It's a pretty good run. Not quite enough run.
About 7 3/4 seconds back of the leader of the race, Dale Jarrett.
Jeff Gordon, of course, is running in 3rd place. A lot of good racing back in the pack. You see there that Gordon is 1.7 seconds behind. Not too long ago, it was almost 2.7 seconds. So Gordon has cut that down. You can see he's come into the picture there now. He is gaining more than 1/10 of a second a lap.
And check out our AutoZone on-track interval between the leader, Dale Jarrett, and Jeff Gordon. You see, just like you said, Ned, he had a 2.5 second lead on Gordon, and now it's down to 1.7. That doesn't sound like much, but just another 5 laps, and he'll be right on his rear bumper.
And he is definitely running a higher line than is Jarrett. Jarrett's car seemed to be working a little bit better down on the bottom.
Side-by-side battle here between Jeffrey Bodine and Bobby Labonte for 7th position. On board with Labonte. Thought he was going to be able to get his nose below Jeffrey going into turn 3, but had to back out momentarily. And again, different lines here as Labonte is on the bottom and Jeffrey way up high.
And Bobby Labonte, Interstate Batteries Pontiac, started back in 19th. So another car that has a very, very good run going.
He really struggled in qualifying. He was far down the list in the first practice. Didn't know if he'd make the top 25 or not. He made wholesale changes on the car before qualifying. He went out and he did qualify in the 19th position.
This is from Bobby Labonte's bumper cam looking back on Jeffrey Bodine. Here comes Gordon like a freight train. Up high, trying to take 2nd position away from Mike Skinner down past the packed grandstand here at Michigan Speedway.
And the GJ fans are standing up and said, "Get back there." And the Jeff Gordon fans are standing up and saying, "Come on up there."
And so goes NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
Exactly.
That's the way it should be. Wouldn't do for everybody to pull for the same run.
24 is running high on both ends now.
See, there's a spotter telling DJ that the 24 car is now running high on both. You might want to try that line. See, now DJ goes straight to the top of the racetrack, trying to see if that line works for him like it does for Jeff Gordon.
Well, it resulted in a 2nd place here for Gordon. Boy, Mike Skinner is way down on the bottom of the track, almost to the apron, and yes, Jeff does take 2nd spot. Now about 1/4 of a second or about a car length and a half behind Jarrett. And we see Jeff Burton go to the inside of Michael Waltrip. That is the 13th and 14th position.
Well, Michael Waltrip is really running high all the way through the corner. As both those cars close in on And Jeff Burton still hasn't been able to get by the 40 car, Sterling Marlin, the Coors Light car. Oh, did you see that car backfire? The 40 car, some flame out the exhaust pipe.
Burton must have heard you, Benny, and said, okay, if he thinks I ought to pass him, I will, and he did.
That was for the 12th position. This is for the lead. Gordon now works the lower side of the racetrack. Falls in right behind DJ down the backstretch.
Well, DJ took away that high line from him after his spotter told him where Gordon was running, so Gordon had no choice but to try to go down under. There ain't room up there on the outside to make a good pass.
Doesn't look like Jeff Gordon's car is staying on the bottom of the racetrack right now well enough to pass DJ.
I don't think he could run down there on the bottom.
Thank you very much.
That was DJ's spotter.
Forward, same thing behind you.
Dale Jarrett leads here at Michigan Speedway with Gordon right behind him. Mike Skinner is third, Mark Martin fourth, and Ward Burton, the pole sitter, is in fifth position. Stay with us. We'll be right back for more live coverage of the Pepsi 400 with 24 of 200 laps completed. Welcome back to ESPN's live coverage of the Michigan Speedway Pepsi 400, being led now by Jeff Gordon. He was able to get the lead from Dale Jarrett just moments ago, and this is how it happened down the backstretch.
Comes off turn 2, gets a great run on DJ, and just simply passes him down the backstretch and pulls up in front in turn 3, so he's now able to go back to the top of the racetrack to his preferred line.
But those guys are running very, very consistent and very close. Gordon at 177.896 last lap, and DJ at 177.883. Jerry Punch.
And, Bob, if you'll notice the line that Jeff Gordon is running right now, and even a few others like Michael Waltrip and maybe even Elliott Sadler, you'll note the fact, and what I'm hearing on the radio is that that's a line they all learned when they ran the NASCAR Busch Series race here yesterday. They learned that during the race, if you went up high on the racetrack, you not only could pick up your speed, but the car would turn better in the corners. So Gordon going to school, along with maybe Michael Waltrip, Elliott Sadler, and others, on what they learned yesterday in a 200-miler.
Doc, there were 21 drivers that competed in yesterday's race that are also competing here today. That race yesterday for the Busch Series was won by Dale Earnhardt Jr., but Gordon did finish in second position. Ward Burton was fourth, Martin fifth, Michael Waltrip sixth, Jeff Burton seventh, Jimmy Spencer eighth, Kevin LePage ninth. That was almost a Winston Cup race in the Busch cars.
That's what Bill Weber said yesterday. It was a Winston Cup race disguised with Busch cars.
Here's Bobby Labonte. He has moved up to 5th place now, and he's running faster than Jeff Gordon is right now. He has been coming through traffic, and you can see the progress that he's made from lap 5 from 15th all the way up to 5th now. He just passes him where he catches us. He's running about 4.3 seconds behind, but the last time around he was 4.5 seconds behind. So he's picking up from 1 to 2 tenths of a second a lap.
There is Ward Burton, our pole sitter, who is running sort of by himself back in 6th position. Ward, of course, will have a teammate next year in Dave Blaney, but this year a one-car team for the Bill Davis operation, and right behind him is Bill Elliott. 7 times he has visited victory lane here at Michigan Speedway, and 7 times he has been on the pole.
Right now, Bill is about 6.7 seconds behind Jeff Gordon.
Next car back is a Power Team Chevrolet. Elliott going down the backstretch. Boy, he's had so much success here at this Michigan Speedway. Many, many years drove for Harry Mellon. And there we see Jeffrey Bodine, the Power Team Chevrolet, back in the 8th position. Jeffrey had that great qualifying run, started in 4th, and is now back 9.5 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Gordon.
The 24 car was fastest. Bobby Labonte was second quick, and Jeff Burton was third fastest that last lap.
So obviously, Jeffrey Bodine will look in his mirror and see Jeff Burton in the Exide Batteries Ford closing in on him. Right
behind Jeff Burton in the 10th position is John Andretti. There you see on your pylon, he's about 11 seconds behind Jeff Gordon.
He has lost 2 positions since he started. Started in 8th position.
Here comes Ricky Rudd, who had a good qualifying effort. Like to see him put together a good finish here today. He needs sponsorship, of course, for the year 2000. Or perhaps he's going to sell the team and join another team. The silly season has definitely begun, though. And a battle for 4th position now between Mark Martin and Mike Skinner. And here comes Bobby Labonte catching up to the duo.
Well, Mark Martin has just passed the 31 car of Mike Skinner, and Bobby Labonte, while that was going on, he was just gradually picking up on them. Right now, he's not running faster than the leader, but he's running faster than everybody else out there, Bobby Labonte is.
More on Bobby Labonte from Jerry Punch.
Bob, you really got to give a call to Jimmy Maycar and this entire Interstate Battery crew. They made some major changes. Quite a gamble this morning in the garage area. They changed 2 springs, both sway bars. Yes, they are running a rear sway bar here. And they made some significant changes that affected the nose weight of the car. They're trying to keep the swing weight, that's the weight toward the back of the car, and let the back of the car break loose entering the corner, down by moving that weight toward the front. And obviously those changes, quite a gamble, are paying off now.
Yes, indeed. He's up to the 4th position, and boy, here is a group of cars that have been going at it for several laps now. That's Matt Kenseth to the inside of Kenny Irwin as they go 3 abreast through the 2nd corner.
Jimmy Spencer said, thank goodness I'm out of that crowd. There's Dale Earnhardt right in front of Joe Nemechek, and then Robert Presley, Kenny Irwin.
22nd on back. Nemechek works up high with Robert Presley. Kevin LePage there in the 26th position.
That blue car, different paint job, is Johnny Benson and Bobby Hamilton at the end of this line.
And Bobby Labonte picks up another position. He's now in 3rd, passing Mark Martin.
On board our Circuit City onboard as we look back at Mark Martin from Bobby Labonte.
Well, Jeff Gordon has about a 1.5-second lead on Dale Jarrett. 37 of 200 laps are completed in the Pepsi 400. We'll have more in a moment. Robert Yates saw his driver Dale Jarrett out front for 12 laps. Then Jeff Gordon took over and is currently the leader. Gordon has lifted that Winston Cup trophy on 3 different occasions in his short career, but the man to beat this year for the Winston Cup appears to be Dale Jarrett, who has a 300-point lead in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series as we enter this 22nd event of 1999. There's how they run. After 40 of the 200 laps, we have been green all the way so far. And now 6 through 10, Ward Burton was the pole sitter, is back to 6th, followed by Elliott, Jeff Burton, Jeffrey Bodine, and John Andretti. 42 cars still on the lead lap. The only car not on the lead lap is Ted Musgrave, who has dropped a cylinder, and now Kyle Petty goes a lap down in 42nd position.
Kyle Petty told us yesterday during the NASCAR Busch Series race that no matter what he did, that maybe he was the governor because everything they did to the car, it ran the same speed. He just could not find the speed he needed in that Hot Wheels Pontiac to keep up with these guys.
Here comes 3rd and 4th, Bobby Labonte and Mark Martin. There is Ward Burton, Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton, Jeffrey Bodine, and John Andretti. And back there in the now 13th position and trying to take over 12th from Michael Waltrip is Tony Stewart.
What an incredible run this young man has had.
Started to 37th, so he's picked up 24 positions.
He was 3rd fastest in happy hour last evening, John Kernan.
Well, Bob, that is a brand new race car. The only other time it's been on the track, they tested it at Indianapolis. Tony has told the crew that the car is a little bit free off the corners, but other than that, it's all right. Remember the first 20 laps, He followed Dale Earnhardt through the traffic. Well, Earnhardt's car picked up a push. Tony motored on by and is pulled away from him. And the interesting thing, in the last few laps, he's starting to run quicker lap times. He started out at a 40-80. The next lap, it was a 40-70. Then a 40-60. Last time, a 40-50. So Tony Stewart getting faster.
BP, I'm sure you watched this last week. Remember, he got penalized, had to serve a penalty on pit road, dropped way back to the field, and he came up to finish in 6th position. And
amazing.
Again, it was only his second road course race in a Winston Cup car.
There you see Musgrave on the inside, as Bob told you just a moment ago, is running on 7 cylinders now. One is failed.
Pennzoil Copter Cam has these overhead shots for you as the race progresses under green. According to what we told you early in the race, we should be seeing some pit stops before very long because we're almost to the 45-lap mark.
Yeah, I would say in the next 5 laps or so, as the brothers Burton run side by side here, and Jeff just goes right on by and takes over that 7th position.
Here's a Napa field summary showing you the manufacturer's points battle with Ford out on top. Jarrett, of course, the best of the Ford contingent right now in 2nd position. They have 4 of the top 10 positions, and Chevy has 3 of the top 10 positions, including the leader, and Pontiac with 3 drivers in the top 10, and Tony Stewart very close.
Well, right now we're on lap 45. I think as soon as we see lap 50, we'll see maybe even 48 or 49. We'll see several cars stop and get the tire change and make some much-needed adjustments. But they want to get to the point they can make this on 3 stops rather than have to stop that 4th time.
Yeah, I would say that we'll see some coming in 48 laps. Jeff Bodine and John Andretti battling for the 9th position. Bodine is 9th, and Andretti in 10th place. He's caught Jeffrey.
And 2 distinct different lines. Jeffrey Bodine on the very bottom of the racetrack and John Andretti at the very top.
We have a caution waving on the racetrack.
Here's the car. Is that Dave Marcus trying to get his lap back?
And he does. David Green's trying to, but he didn't get there.
First caution of the race comes out on the 48th lap.
No, first caution of the year.
Here at Michigan.
In Michigan, that's right. Pace car quickly moves onto the racetrack and will catch up to Jeff Gordon. Yeah, it's kind of unusual to see a caution. You only had a couple during the Busch race yesterday, didn't you?
Just more than
Just one. One?
Okay. I wouldn't do much to that.
See David Green and Dick Trickle. Dick Trickle in the M&M's car in the place of Ernie Irvin, having to back off because they did not beat the leader, Jeff Gordon, back to the line.
And I don't think it was necessarily a situation of Gordon just trying to keep them a lap down. He didn't realize he was going to get the caution until he was coming off of turn 4, and he did back off at that time once he realized that he was going to get the caution, and Dave Marcus was able to get by, but the others were too far behind to get a run on him to get by.
Apparently there is debris on the track down in turn 1 because a sweeper has moved to that point of the racetrack. However, this caution does come at a very good time because, as we had just talked about, it was almost time for the first round of pit stops.
And no one had pitted, so no one really gets penalized yet, so that's good.
On board with Rusty Wallace, now Ricky Rudd, as we are going to see a whole bunch of cars come in for a stop.
Will straight. Stop on the board.
Going up and down, trying to tell the driver where they're located.
Down to John Kernan.
Tony Stewart is in for a 4-tire change and made an air pressure adjustment to try and tighten the car up just a little bit. Also, a wedge adjustment down to Jeff Gordon's pit and Bill Weber.
Jeff Gordon is a little tight off the turns, but not much. Perhaps a slight air pressure adjustment. Other than that, no changes. 4 tires and lots of fuel. 48 laps on the board. Back to Labonte.
Likewise, Bobby Labonte, tight coming off the corners, an air pressure adjustment on all 4 tires, and now it is a race down pit road. Looks like Gordon will get it, Jarrett, and then Bobby Labonte. Great pit work here for the first stop of the day.
Gordon, Jarrett, Labonte, Burton, Elliott, Martin, and Tony Stewart in that order coming off.
what a huge break this was for Tony Stewart, because he's now able to catch up with the lead cars and find out just how good he is. Jerry Punch.
Oh, it looks like possibly the pinion gear, the rear end gear, may have come out of the 31 car as he was trying to leave pit road. Mike Skinner came in for a routine pit stop, started to leave, something popped, and now they're scrambling to get the Lowe's Chevrolet back behind the wall and be able to take a look at the rear end. They're saying over the radio, and I'm listening right now to Mike talking to Larry McReynolds, and they think it may be the pinion gear. And Benny and Ed, you guys can explain exactly what we're talking about, because we have concrete here where you have to leave pit road.
Yeah, we see a line of oil right there going. There it comes off pit road. This concrete pit road gets such a grip, and they let these cars down that a lot of times you break something in the drive line.
Well, many had high hopes for Mike Skinner here today. He qualified second fast, started on the front row, but his car is behind the wall right now. Over 150,000 people here at Michigan Speedway today. Every seat is filled, and there is a whole bunch of people in the infield. And there are a whole bunch of disappointed Mike Skinner fans right now because he's behind the wall, Doc.
And Mike sits patiently in his Lowe's Chevrolet. Mike, a great beginning, and suddenly it went away. What happened as you were leaving the pit?
Well, I guess our Michigan luck is holding up for us. Broke a gear, I guess, with just normal pit stop. Got behind a little bit on the pit stop, and I said, well, we can't make up for it here. We just got to get it first gear, leave the pits, and seen Bobby take off there, and they got their tire up. I said, well, let's go. And Jack came down and let the clutch out. She stayed right where she's at. I broke the rear end gear.
I'm hearing Larry McReynolds tell the crew you need a rear end and a drive shaft. Now, just before the caution came out, you commented that the engine was sputtering a little bit, and you looked at the fuel pressure.
Yeah, I think it got a piece of trash in the carburetor or something, and it started fluttering pretty good there for about a lap, and then it seemed to started clearing up. I didn't change the ignition box or nothing. Fuel pressure kind of came back where it was for normal, so I think the engine's going to be okay. I just got to keep a gear in.
All right, Mike Skinner behind the wall. He is stopped right now. There are a couple guys came on and off pit road for stop and go as they're leaving right now, including Mark Martin in the car number 6 and the 20 of Tony Stewart.
What a break Tony Stewart got. Now he's got to look all over again.
Yep. The crew cam is being worn by Tommy Baldwin as he works on Ward Burton's car. Here comes Ward in, and Tommy goes to work.
Just that fast. Now let's go to the left side. Come on. Get it up. Get it up. Let's go. Get the jack up. Come on. There we go. Man, that precision that is incredible. That's just incredible how well they're able to do that.
Tony Stewart gained 5 positions on pit road. He was going to fall into about 7th position, but because of the stop-and-go penalty for speeding, he is back to 35th spot. Look at that.
Man,
Mark Martin from 4th to 32nd.
Man, oh, man. Tough break.
Well, they still got 300 miles to do it. Get back up there, and he's already come from there in 100 miles, so
yep.
Tony Stewart did.
We're ready for the restart. Kyle Petty and Dick Trickle down to the inside as lap cars. As the green comes out on lap number 52, we had 4 laps of caution, but now the green waves once again.
And here goes DJ trying to take that lead off, too.
There, he probably needed to get a run on while he had those new tires on there. The new Gordon will be tough to pass later on, and I think he's going to be tough to pass right now.
In the corner number 3, they race side by side. Jarrett on the bottom and Jeff Gordon up in the middle of the racetrack, and Jarrett gets the advantage coming up.
And Jeff Gordon had to back off the throttle just a little bit, which allowed Bobby Labonte to get alongside, and here comes Ward Burton.
Jeff Gordon led 26 laps, but now Jarrett is back out in front. He's led 13, and look at Ward Burton become a factor.
Well, those Pontiacs are fast, running second and third side by side, still keeping up.
Burton trying to get second.
Oh, he spins right in front of him, goes up and slams it outside wall.
Car stays up at the top of the racetrack, and that is good news because There were many, many cars right behind him, and it looks like it's only going to be a one-car accident. At least let's hope so.
Well, that's amazing that it is just a one-car accident because they were at the front and the whole field had to go by.
Yep. They were battling for second position, Bobby Labonte and Ward Burton. And Ward has hit the wall pretty hard.
Jeff Gordon said, "Hey, man, why'd you cut me off coming up turn 4 there for?" BJ said, "I didn't do anything."
They
I thought I had a little more room than that. Didn't mean to mess him up there.
That was DJ. Tell him thought he had a little more room than that. Here's Ward getting there, and the car just got loose on him down underneath there. And that was one of the things they were complaining about yesterday when they got underneath another car going into the turn. Of course, they were already into turn 3 pretty good when that happened, but it takes the air off the spoiler, and around he went.
And I think you mentioned it earlier, Benny. Almost all the crashes that we saw in the Busch practice yesterday morning or Friday morning in which Ernie Irma was injured, they do a half spin and hit on the driver's side.
Exactly. They just half spin. Now watch the car go around. It goes up the hill, does a half spin, and backs it off. Now, if they could just keep going and go around and hit the nose, it would be one thing, but they always slam on that left side. Jerry Punch.
And, guys, we got to remember, when the race began, Ward Burton complained about the car being very, very tight, meaning it wouldn't turn coming off the corner. Now, in that last pit stop just a moment ago, with the only pit stop of the day, they made a significant adjustment to the air pressure and the wedge to free the car up. Ward had the back end planted for the first 46 laps. Now he tries to go make a move beneath Bobby Labonte, and with that adjustment, obviously the back end wasn't planted enough anymore, and it came around. That's what the crew is hypothesizing may have happened here as they sit and watch the dismal picture on the infield screens and see how badly damaged their pole-sitting car actually is.
Well, evidently Ward is okay because they're hooking the record of the car, which tells me that he is probably okay. And we saw the officials there talking to Ward. They're trying to get him out of the car, and he says, "Man, I feel good sitting here right now."
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in for a pit stop. He pitted not too long ago, so is Wally Dallenbach, as we ride on board with Dale Jr. And they're going to change left side tires.
Oh, they're going to make a change.
Yeah, they're jacking it up, one thing, to get it completely full of fuel, and yeah, they did something back there on that left rear.
Well, we talked about the silly season, and there's a good way to keep up on what's happening whenever there was an official announcement regarding the 1999 season and how it will affect the 2000 series. You can catch up with what's going on the NASCAR website, www.nascar.com. We'll be right back. The Michigan Speedway hosting the Pepsi 400 here this afternoon for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. 55 laps completed under caution. Well, it's the back-to-school blitz. College football next weekend. Saturday, college game day begins at 11. Then Arizona and Penn State on ABC at 1. Louisiana Tech and Florida State on the deuce at 5. North Carolina State and Texas on the deuce at 8:30. And then Sunday on ABC, a week from today, it's number 12 Miami against number 9 Ohio State.
Tell me it's not so. Football season already.
It is football season, and one person who is especially happy about that is a member of the coverage team on Thursday nights on ESPN, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Bob, I can't wait. We are so excited about teeing it up and getting ready for college football on ESPN and ESPN2. In fact, a week from next Thursday, I will be back in Michigan at East Lansing, Michigan for Oregon at Michigan State to kick off our season of Thursday night college football. What a great lineup. We go out to Washington at BYU. We got Clemson at Virginia Tech. We got an incredible lineup for Thursday night. And, of course, we kick it off two weeks from this past Thursday up here in East Lansing. And then I get to go do NASCAR racing on the weekend. What a job. I love being a part of this.
Boy, you got it made, Doc. Well, I tell you, these mornings up here in southern Michigan, the last couple of mornings, it sure indicates that it's football season, doesn't it?
It's very nice. Yeah, cool. The days haven't been nearly as hot as we've had in the South either.
Yep, nice dry weather, not very much humidity.
If you just turn on the television, you wonder what's the caution flag about Ward Burton in the Caterpillar car. Pole sitter, as a matter of fact, just crashed about 2 or 3 laps ago up in turn 3. I think Ward is okay. I saw them talking to him, and they hooked up the wrecker and brought the car back. We did not see him get out of the car. I don't know if he even got out of the car, but we see him going in turn 3 on the inside of Bobby Labonte. We'll show you what happened to Ward. There he goes in the corner, and he doesn't have that wall of air to lean against. He goes up and, bam, smacks that wall hard.
Touched Bobby Labonte just a little bit there, but the crew feels it did not do enough damage to certainly not to warrant a pit stop.
Ward Burton, the pole sitter, did lead lap number 1, but after that, Dale Jarrett took over. 4 leaders so far. Gordon has led the most, then Jarrett, Skinner, and Ward Burton. Back in a moment. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, John Curtin, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch back with you on this Sunday afternoon in the southern Michigan area, the Irish Hills at Michigan Speedway, as the Pepsi 400 is 58 laps old, and next time around they'll get the green flag and restart this event.
Ourselves and about 150,000 of our closest friends.
There are 37 cars still on the lead lap.
There you see the 50 car, Ricky Craven to the very end of the line. He has made a pit stop. See Ted Musgrave on 7 cylinders has waved Kyle Petty by. There's Ricky Craven.
Well, this afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, after our coverage of the stock car race, you can turn over to ABC and check out the Kart FedEx Championship Series as they run their very first race at Chicago Motor Speedway. It's the Target Grand Prix of Chicago, and that will be on ABC at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Max Pappas has won the pole for that event. 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Less strange on RPM. Friday night he was complaining about how he was not getting around the racetrack.
Is that right?
On the pole.
All right, Doc, bring us up to date on the tire situation.
I'm with Tony Fraun, who's the lead engineer for the NASCAR tire development from Goodyear. And Tony, tell us about the new tire at Michigan. We're hearing a lot about the cars being loose going in, but I'm told from most of the drivers that it's a huge improvement over what you had.
Yeah, basically, Jerry, what's going on is this tire enables the drivers to be able to turn the car better through the center of the corners. And what we're seeing here at Michigan today is the drivers that are able to harness the cornering power of that tire are coming to the front, and as the teams adjust, more and more of those cars will start going quick.
A little more staggered than what they're accustomed to, and also some increased sidewall flexibility. Is that what's creating a little bit of the work for them?
That's part of the equation, yes.
All right, green flag, guys.
Dale Jarrett is the leader over Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, and Jeff Burton. By the way, Mike Skinner is back in the race, 8 laps down. There he is.
As he dives down to the inside, goes by David Green. I saw David Green had to be pushed back on the last car. I'm not exactly sure what happened to his car. He is a lap down. Oh, we got a mess back here now.
The group of those cars been running in a mess all along right from the get-go.
Kyle Petty said, let me out of there. I don't belong in that mess.
Kyle is a lap down.
Looking back from Ricky Rudd's car. Oh, there's Earnhardt down to the inside of Chad Little. Rusty Wallace is back there, so is Sterling Marlin. They all pass by David Green, who is a lap down back in 39th spot. Look at Earnhardt. Way down to the inside, almost the left side tires below the yellow line.
Well, this is a wide racetrack. They can do a lot of racing. And Mark Martin is back there in that mess, as Benny calls it. I saw him 3 wide there a moment. There he is 3 wide again right now. Position he didn't want to be in, but, you know, he got penalized. And now Jeff Gordon is being passed by the 36 car, which is a lap down, and Bobby Labonte. Labonte took over second with that pass. On the first run, it seemed to take Gordon's car just a little bit to really come in and get settled the way that he liked for it to, so he's probably just riding there right now. Said, okay, you guys go ahead.
More from Bill Weber.
Ned, I think what they're being very cautious of, they are a little concerned about wearing out that right rear tire like we talked about on NASCAR today with Benny. Ray Evernham told Jeff before the green came back out that we do have a little right rear wear, but that will go away as the laps go by.
You know, they ran, Jeff Gordon and a bunch of cars ran awfully high that first run, and that going up high in the racetrack, getting in that green racetrack will wear the tires a little excessively. That might be one reason that Jeff Gordon has moved down lower on the racetrack than he was running, trying to save that tire for the first 10 or 15 laps and then move up the racetrack so he can safely run 50 laps without wearing the right rear out.
And Jerry has more on the tire wear.
And I was just polling some of the Goodyear engineers who have been going pit to pit to pit down here, and what they're seeing and what I saw come off like the 18 car Bobby Labonte was pretty excellent tire wear on the right side. In fact, they've told Jimmy Maycar and some of the crew chiefs down at this end of pit road that they could probably go a fuel stop and a half on the right side tires, and the left side tires, if need be, could go easily 2 fuel stops. So I guess it depends on how the car is handling, whether you're going to wear the right front if you're pushing or the left rear if you're loose.
We're watching Dale Earnhardt as he tries to get 10th position from Rusty Wallace. You noticed on your Napa Field summary how the points positions are changing, of course, as the race goes along. And one of the big changes in the top 5, Bobby Labonte, because of his position on the racetrack right now in second, is second in points. And Mark Martin, who is back in the 23rd position, dropping to third.
Bob, I mentioned early in the race that a cloud cover has come over. Well, the sun came back out for a little while, but now there is a cloud over the sun, and most of the racetrack is under shade. The backstretch is not, but other than that, the rest of it is.
3 wide back there in the second turn. Man, these guys are doing some fine racing, aren't they?
Yes, and there's Skinner and Dick Trickle, and here comes Jeff Burton trying to catch up with the McDonald's car, Bill Elliott, and move up on the outside. Burton trying to take over 4th spot.
And Bobby Labonte has just taken over 1st spot.
We have a new leader for the first time this afternoon. Bobby Labonte leads the Pepsi 400. Looking back from Bill Elliott's onboard camera. We talked about the penalty that was assessed to Tony Stewart and Mark Martin. They dropped clear back into the pack, and they have been running very close together on the racetrack, too.
Almost too close.
Then they come off turn, turn 4. You're right, Ned. Almost too close.
They're 22nd and 23rd right now as we turn our attention up front where Jeff Gordon comes to the inside of Dale Jarrett as Gordon tries to take over 2nd's position. And look at Bill Elliott back there in 4th, looking like the Bill Elliott of old.
Yes, he is having a great run here this afternoon.
See there, Bobby Labonte has pulled away to about a 12, 15 car length advantage. Of course, a little bit of that was as a result of Gordon and Jarrett running side by side for a portion of the last lap.
In many ways, this is a different race already than what we saw in June. That, of course, went flag to flag with no interruptions. We've had a couple of cautions already in this race in the first 66 laps, and we have seen 5 different leaders.
And there might be another before too long. See that 4th place car that Jeff Burton just got around Bill Elliott? That car is coming on towards the front. In fact, the last few laps, not the last lap because he was passing Elliott, but he had been the fastest car each lap at the line.
And Dale Earnhardt's battling with Jeremy Mayfield trying to take over the 7th position.
John has more on Dale Earnhardt, who's looking pretty good here this afternoon.
Yes, he is, Bob. Remember, I told you a little bit earlier that the car had developed a slight push earlier in the race. Well, on that last pit stop, they took on 4 tires, and they made a wedge adjustment with 2 rounds to try and free the car up a little bit. Earnhardt hasn't said a whole lot of anything yet, so I guess he's pretty pleased with the car right now.
Ricky Rudd is following him, or trying to, but look at Earnhardt go to the low side of the racetrack and blow by Jeremy.
He just turned that car left down in turn 1 and went right by Jeremy. Great power move by Earnhardt.
Moves him up into the 7th position. Here is Bobby Labonte, who has about a 3/4 second lead on Jeff Gordon, but the man on the move is Jeff Burton, who is 4th, about a 2nd and 3/4 behind Bobby Labonte. And once again, not a particularly good qualifying effort for Jeff Burton. He started 26th. But as has been the custom, it seems, the normal in Winston Cup races this year, he quickly moves through the field and becomes a contender. He certainly is here this afternoon. Coming up on 70 laps completed at Michigan Speedway in the Pepsi 400, it's Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett, the top three. We welcome you to ESPN's live coverage of the Pepsi 400 from Michigan Speedway, being brought to you by Quaker State for protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. By the more than 2,700 AutoZone stores across America, AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. The Pennzoil Copter Cam providing a beautiful overhead shot of this 2-mile high bank facility near Brooklyn, Michigan Speedway. And it's the Pepsi 400. 73 laps have been completed, and it is Bobby Labonte who has the lead by about 0.6 of a second over Jeff Gordon. There's the leader of the race, who is about to complete his 10th lap at the front. Right now, Jeff Gordon, running second, has led the most laps, 26. Jarrett has led 25. And Jeff Burton continues to march forward. He now is in third, passing Dale Jarrett.
Jarrett radioed in a little bit ago to his crew chief and said his car was a little bit tight right now. And Jeff Burton has worked right on through.
We saw his brother, Ward Burton, who was the pole sitter in the race, have some problems a little bit earlier in the event. He and Labonte were side by side through the third corner, and up into the wall goes Ward Burton. Now, he stayed in the car all the way into the garage area. Let's get the latest from Bill Weber.
Well, Ward did visit the infield care center. First of all, Ward, how are you?
I've got a headache, got a few bruises, but nothing that won't heal up. Just really sorry and disappointed for my Caterpillar team and all their sponsors. Picked up a few positions going into 1, coming off of 2, and went into 3, and just looped on me. And I don't know what I need to do different, but it just didn't give me any warning.
Okay, another disappointing day. Best of luck. We'll see you at Bristol.
Okay, thanks.
Ward's had a couple of major disappointments in the last couple of races. Look at Jeff Gordon, so high on the track.
Yeah, he said, okay, I've given that right rear enough time. I think I'll move back to the top, see if I can catch this 18 car.
And abuse it a little bit, huh?
Yeah, he might be abusing it, but he's catching the 18 car. He's cut it down now to 0.3 of a second. It was about 3/4 of a second.
Just about 2 car lengths as they hit the back stretch.
Now back to the Circuit City onboard camera as Bobby Labonte looks back at Jeff Gordon.
And that's not as far as it looks.
No.
That camera. In fact, he's pulling right up within a car length. In fact, he's going to try to move. No, he's going to try to move by and move to the inside of him, but couldn't quite get that much momentum as he got around Ted Musgrave coming off the turn.
Here is Tony Stewart, who continues to march through the field after serving a penalty for speeding on pit road. He goes to the inside of the number 60 car of Jeffrey Bodine and takes away the 15th position. Now, Mark Martin, who's also penalized, is running in 17th.
So both of those drivers have made good moves towards the front. And you can see there how Tony Stewart is doing it. That car is working great down on the bottom of the racetrack. He just puts it down there, nails the gas, and moves right on ahead.
And while that was going on, look who's back at the front of the field.
Man, we can't watch it pass around the racetrack without another pass happening on us. Jeff Gordon back to the lead. Wonder how that happened.
Well, let's see.
We'll show you.
Yeah. Okay. Down in turn 1, Gordon just dives down to the inside and does that famous slide job. Come on, Jeff, slide up the hill in front of him. Come on, man. There you go.
There you did it.
Well, here is Marlin, Rusty Wallace, Rick Mast, and Jeremy Mayfield, and they're back there in about 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Jeremy's trying the high side, Rusty's trying the middle, and Rick Mast is trying the bottom. Makes for pretty exciting racing. Let's see what they're doing. They're down. They get down to turn 1. Yeah, there goes Rick to the bottom. There goes Rusty in the middle. There goes Jeremy to the high side.
Same deal. Here comes Stewart down on the low side. Boy, he is running very low. bit there coming off the turn.
Ricky Rudd running in 14th position. Tony Stewart able to get through the corner and make up some time in the middle, but he's not able to get that momentum off the corner that the high line provides Ricky Rudd.
Take a look at the Lowe's field summary, showing you that Ford leads the manufacturers' battle and the top representatives of the three car makers in the field.
Man, oh man, what a mess this is.
Got some traffic ahead of him now, doesn't he?
Chad Little's got a great run going in that John Deere car up in 7th position.
Jimmy Spencer also doing well in 8th. Rick Mast is in 9th. And up ahead there at the top of the racetrack is Dale Earnhardt, who's in 10th spot.
Spencer.
John Kernan has a report on Dale Earnhardt.
While we've seen Earnhardt lose several positions over the last few laps, that's because the car just will not turn in the corners. So he's having to let off the gas a little bit early and not be able to get back on the gas soon enough. So they're going to make some air pressure adjustments, possibly another chassis adjustment, try to loosen that car up just a little bit more on their next pit stop.
Now here we are, 3 abreast as Mark Martin gets on the inside of Tony Stewart. And that's a battle for, I don't know, something 14th, 15th, somewhere.
How did he do that as low as Stewart has been running?
Yeah.
Of course, Mark always runs low on this racetrack.
And Ricky Rudd makes it a 4-car battle, and Jeffrey Bodine is there for a 5-car battle.
Ooh, Tony just able to squeeze in between Ricky Rudd and Jeffrey Bodine.
And Bill Weber has a report from the Mark Martin pit.
Well, in the corner of your screen, you can take a look at Tommy Wallace, who's just put on that Valvoline jacket. He comes over from the 22 team. He's going to change front tires for Mark Martin. Mark's first stop was 18.11 seconds. Not that quick, but not that bad when you consider Robert Benfield, who was changing the front tires, did it while having a kidney stone attack.
Oh.
He has since gone back to the garage, and Wallace has come over from the 22 to change tires for Mark. So they had the pit road speeding penalty, which hurt, and the kidney stone, which hurt a lot more.
Man, oh man, that is painful. I've had them.
I have too, Bob. There's nothing that can be more painful.
That is right. Don't know about childbirth. We'll never know about that, Ned. But
no, you and I won't.
I don't want to have anything more painful than a kidney stone.
Now, Tony Stewart, as these tires start wearing and get hotter and hotter, he's starting to struggle on the bottom of the racetrack. If he could get clear of these cars, he probably would move up and see how that line would work. But right now, where he wants to go, there's someone already there.
Stewart runs right on the bottom of the racetrack. He is back in 16th position, so he is almost up to where he was before that caution period, during which he picked up some positions on pit road, but then lost all of them because of the speeding penalty. Here he is to the inside of Ricky Rudd and goes to 15th. And now we'll race side by side with Dale Earnhardt to the line.
Rudd's going to help him. The drafting here plays a part at Michigan, so that helps him to pick up some more speed down the straightaway. But here comes Earnhardt back up on the outside.
And Ricky Rudd is not able to keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack like Tony Stewart. So Earnhardt comes back on Rudd. And who is that in the middle? Is that Jeffrey Bodine? Yes. And the 58 car Hutch Strickland once again. And that's something you don't want to see in a NASCAR Winston Cup race. A car with nothing on the side of it.
Yeah.
They're doing very well not having a major sponsor.
What did Lee Trevino say? There's a couple of things don't last long. One is pros that putt for par. Another one is it doesn't last long as a race car with no writing on the side of it.
Jeff Gordon led 20 laps here in June. He is now leading his 36th lap in the August Pepsi 400. We're 11 laps away from the halfway point of the Pepsi 400. 89 laps in the book right now. There's the interval between first and second. Jeff Gordon, followed by Bobby Labonte, with Jeff Burton back in third, then Dale Jarrett, and fifth place is Bill Elliott. Having a very good run here today in the McDonald's Ford. Let's jump on board the McDonald's onboard camera and ride around with Bill.
He's just sort of out there by himself. Not too. It's pretty far to the fourth place man and a couple of seconds ahead of the sixth place man. So he just got himself in a nice position there.
And for a taste of the race, let's check out the State Fair Corn Dogs onboard telemetry.
He comes off turn 2. We see down the 160-mile-per-hour range. He accelerates down the backstretch. The flags are not blowing today, but I think we'll still see that the front stretch will have a little more speed than the backstretch. Did I see 194?
Yep, that's what I saw.
Sorry, Dave. The front stretch is longer than the back stretch, and that allows them to get more speed.
So this should be the fastest part of the racetrack coming up. About 198, I believe I saw. On board with Rusty Wallace, looking back on Tony Stewart.
Those cars are 11th and 12th.
Right behind Tony is Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty's teammate. There he is, onboard telemetry also.
What's the RPMs? 83, 84, 85, 8600. That's down the backstretch. Once again, should turn a couple hundred RPMs more down the front and a little bit more speed. Oh, man.
Ricky Craven with an unscheduled pit stop, changing all 4 tires on that. There was a flat left front, we understand.
And they're having trouble getting the jack under the car. Finally, they get it under. They're able to lift it up enough to get it under.
Midwest Transit, sponsor on that car. And that's too bad. He had a good run going. As a matter of fact, he had come in and topped off with fuel at the end of the last caution, so he should have been able to go a few more laps than the others.
And as we near the halfway point, we also near the time when we'll see more pit stops. The crews are getting set for the second round of pit stops here. They're the top 5. We are less than 7 away from the cross flags indicating halfway. As you rejoin us for the Pepsi 400 here at Michigan Speedway, you will observe that we have had another lead change while you were gone.
What is it about every time we go to commercial break, there's a lead change?
That's our 7th lead change of the afternoon. We have had 5 different drivers at the front of the field. Bobby Labonte just led his 15th lap up front.
And his brother Terry just went a lap down as we take a look at how that pass happened.
Going down in turn 1. Now, Bobby Labonte has started running the bottom of the racetrack the last, 10 or 15 laps, and looks like he's really making some headway down there.
Moving through some traffic, that's Rich Bickle, who also goes a lap down in 34th position. More from Jerry Punch.
Hey, Benny, I think probably the groove had something to do with it, but also the fact that about 4 laps ago they told Bobby Labonte that he was just a handful of laps away from the halfway money. That may have been the biggest boost for him to be able to make that move.
$10,000 from Gatorade, that's pretty big money. And just 2 more laps and he'll collect.
Yep, less than 2 laps and the money will be handed out unless we go caution. Well, here's Tony Stewart once again fighting through the traffic. He just took over the 11th position, now ahead of both Rusty Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield.
And Mark Martin, he has moved all the way up to 7th position.
Wow.
Yep. But the only problem is he's not quite a half a lap behind the leader. But, he has really come through the field.
Now, these 2 cars, Tony Stewart and Mark Martin, both these guys now need a caution flag because they have fast race cars, but they need that caution flag to help catch them back up.
Well, is Bobby Labonte going to collect that money, or does Jeff Gordon want it?
Well, Jeff Gordon's building a new house. He might need that money more than Bobby Labonte.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine with all he's won in the last several years.
Well, let's see who gets it. They're approaching turn number 3, and this time around we will see the halfway mark.
Gordon moves up, and Bobby Labonte moves down. And that's where his car has been working. He's going to get it.
Yes, indeed, Bobby Labonte will pick up the 10 grand. Bobby has led in every super speedway race in 1999.
Rich Bick was 10-10, 345 car was lap just a couple of laps ago, so he's now chosen to come in the pits and make a pit stop and put on 4 fresh tires. And some of these cars are getting close on fuel. The 41 car, here comes Dale Earnhardt down pit road. I didn't know what happened to David Green. He ran out of fuel the last time. John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt crew getting ready to do a 4-tire change. They will also make a chassis adjustment as Jeff Gordon woes it down, makes his entrance on the pit road. Coming around to the left side. Remember, Earnhardt's car was very tight, pushing in the turns, so they're trying to loosen it up. Dale Jarrett, the Winston Cup point leader, on pit road, as is Bill Elliott. The work is done for Dale Earnhardt and down to Bill Weber.
4 tires and fuel only for Jeff Gordon will tear away the shield on the windshield, so Gordon will have a better view. Just a little tight off. Other than that, no major problems, with the exception that Gordon is having a lot of difficulty hearing Ray Evernham with the cars on the backstretch. Gordon is away. Dale Jarrett is getting 4 tires also. An air pressure adjustment on the right rear and the left rear, and a round to fight out. Jarrett's away. Bobby Labonte is headed down pit road as well.
Bobby Labonte coming down to you, Doc.
4,200 RPMs. That translates to 55 miles per hour for the Interstate Batteries Pontiac, a brand new car that debuted at the Brickyard 400 and ran a gallant effort only to finish second to Dale Jarrett. Bobby Labonte has said no changes. The car is exactly as I like it. Jeff Burton getting 4 tires on the X-side for us. Back to Bobby Labonte. On now on the left side of the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. Left side tires getting it full of fuel. Burton is out. Labonte is out. Let's go to John Kernan.
Jimmy Spencer in for a 4-tire change. What's going on? They've made an air pressure adjustment in the right front, trying to loosen it up just a little bit. Bill Weber.
Rusty Wallet and his teammate Jeremy Mayfield pitted at the same time. It's 4 tires and fuel for Wallace. Magic number for him. He got to lap 102. They've had fuel mileage growth all year. Rusty's away. Now Mark Martin will begin the trek down pit road. And you know his story. Good pit stop, 18.11 seconds on the last stop. However, he was penalized into the longest line for exiting pit road too fast. They have a new front tire changer this time. They've made the replacement. Mark wanted no changes on the car, so we'll get 4 tires and fuel. They cleaned the windshield. By the way, the team very, very upset about that pit road speeding penalty. They claimed they came out in the pack. There was no way they could have sped down pit road. Mark smoked the tires, but I guarantee you he'll watch the tack. 16.6 seconds. Great stop for the 6 bunch.
Tony Stewart had taken the lead, but now he's coming into the pits, John Kernan.
Tony Stewart being counted down 5. Now he sees the sign, pulls over into his pit stop. The crew will go to work. Earlier, their first pit stop, 15.6 seconds. It'll be a 4-tire change, fill it up with fuel. They'll also pull off the tearaway on the windshield, even the clear view out the windshield. They have made no chassis adjustments and also no adjustments in air pressure. Tony really happy with the car. He's jabbing away. To Jerry Punch.
Let me show you the left rear tire that just came off of Bobby Labonte's Interstate Batteries Pontiac. As you take a look here, you'll see these bubbles on the left rear tire. And the crew now are talking about, basically, this is where they had the impact with Warren Burton. Remember the spin earlier when Warren Burton's car came around? It actually rubbed the left rear. And they're thinking that's what actually caused part of this bubbling up on the side of the tire. It is not a defect in the Goodyear tire. And all the other tires that have come off Bobby Labonte's car look fine. But, man, I'm not sure how much further he would have been able to go. It was really starting to bubble up all the way around.
Well, pit stops continue to be made here, and we'll tell you how everybody has come onto the racetrack, what order they're running in when we return. Welcome back to ESPN's live coverage of the Pepsi 400 from Michigan. You don't have to wait long for more NASCAR Winston Cup racing. We'll have the Run for the Bud Pool qualifying from Bristol Friday evening at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on the Deuce. RPM tonight's at 6:30, and then the Food City 250 for the Busch Series at 7 o'clock next Friday night. Saturday, NASCAR Today will be at 7. The Goodies Headache Powder 500 from the High Banks of Bristol at 7:30. And RPM Tonight will wrap it up at midnight next Saturday. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. During the pit stops, Wally Dallenbach, Robert Presley, and Tony Stewart all led a lap, but the pit stops have been completed, and now Jeff Gordon is back at the front of the field with Bobby Labonte running second, Dale Jarrett third, Jeff Burton fourth, and Terry Labonte running in fifth position. Jeff Gordon is out front, and he is lapping cars as he comes down the tri-oval. And the 94 car of Bill Elliott has been in the top 10 virtually all race long, has made an unscheduled pit stop. He's now rolling back out on the racetrack.
Changed the left side tires. I think that's what you were about to say, Danny. We saw what happened when Donald Ford came in.
And the 12 car is also reporting a problem on the radio. He is running in the 7th position. He and Chad Little are trying to decide who will run there. Could possibly be a result of the pit stop that occurred just a few minutes ago. Watch the left front.
Okay, the left sides are going on. Left rear is on, left front's on. They start to tighten the lug nuts. The jack man stands up, lets the car down. As the car leaves, the left front, the tire guy changing the left front, looks at the jack man and says, that's the jack man, says, hey man, I wasn't finished yet. And he just hangs his head. Oh no!
He's coming down, Jerry.
Exactly. What a tough break for Jeremy Mayfield, who was running in the top 10. He said as soon as he left pit road that there was a vibration in the car, and Peter Suspenzo told the driver, no bones about it, we think the left front may be loose. If the vibration gets any worse at all, you're going to have to pit. And, of course, Jeremy said we need to come in now. So they're going to go ahead and come back down pit road and change all 4 tires. And this is the killer, this green flag pit stop. But they will be very, very deliberate and get all lug nuts tight on the left front and the left rear. He is down and away in about 7.5 seconds.
But he will be a lap down. And that's too bad. And Bob, when we were going to break a moment ago, we saw Terry Labonte's picture up there that he was running in 5th place. And the fans wondered, well, we thought he got lapped. He did early on, but he was still out there when we went to break, had not made that green flag pit stop. He has since made a green flag pit stop, and he is a lap down now.
Yeah, he was off sequence, but now drops back to 36th position. And look at this, a couple of laps ago.
Oh, man, that's the 17 car of Matt Kenseth on the outside, and Dave Marcus almost getting together off that corner. A crash narrowly avoided.
Marcus 2 laps down in 37. Matt Kenseth is still on the lead lap in 19th. And here's the 4 car of Bobby Hamilton, which is running in 20th position, and there is Kenseth. So the leader, Jeff Gordon, is coming up to try to lap these 2 drivers.
Matt Kenseth and Dale Earnhardt Jr., 2 of the heralded rookies in the year 2000 for the running for the Rebestos Rookie of the Year award.
And Dale Jarrett now begins to close in on the
good lap,
Bobby Labonte.
3.5.
Bob, he was over 6.5 seconds behind Jeff Gordon after the pit stop. He now is 3.6 seconds behind. So the adjustment they made must have helped his forwards.
And one problem that Jeff Gordon, the leader, is having right now is lap traffic. We saw him just a moment ago. Here he is. We're in the middle of this lap traffic, and all these guys right now are racing him very, very hard because they do not want to go a lap down. We see Matt Kenseth and Bobby Hamilton. They realize as soon as that 24 car goes by, they could be in trouble, and so they're trying to stay up there at all costs, which leaves Jeff Gordon running around the racetrack about 2 miles per hour slower than he's really capable of running.
Yeah, that's a good point, Danny. And those cars are running in the 19th and 20th position. Kenseth is in 19th, and Bobby Hamilton is in 20th position. And like you say, they want to stay on the lead lap. There's Joe Nemechek. He has already gone a lap down to the leaders.
And now Dale Jarrett also passing by. Be interesting to see where Joe Nemechek ends up next year, because he did, as I indicated early, indicate that he was not going to be back with the Felix Sabates team in the year 2000.
I would just guess where he's got a resume in, but, you know, what would I know?
On board with Bill Elliott, whose unscheduled pit stop has now put him a lap down back in 32nd position.
Well, a very disappointed drive-through crew in the McDonald's pit. Bill Elliott radioed in that the car had a bad vibration. He just radioed right a moment ago that he's going to come back down pit road, but he came in with that vibration and he thought he had a loose lug nut on the left side. But the crew said all the lugs on the left were tight, and Elliott went back out. He was out there about half a lap and said, it must be the right. I'm going to stay out as long as I can, but it's gotten too worse. Bill Elliott will come back down pit road to go around to the right side and check the right side lug nuts. Now Elliott begins the long run down pit road as the 18 goes around the 24.
Jeff must have got caught behind some slower traffic, and Bobby Labonte just shot through on the inside and took the lead again.
I'm sorry, Nick, go ahead. Jeff Gordon had already passed Bobby Hamilton there a little bit ago. Now, Hamilton has gotten back around him as well, so it could be that he got caught up in traffic. I wasn't looking directly at it when it happened, but nevertheless, Bobby Labonte has taken the lead.
Yes, indeed. Let's watch what happened on the replay. Yeah, there is Gordon around Hamilton, or almost.
And he's trying to pull that slide job like I talked about before, but Hamilton, once again, he's not wanting to go a lap down, so he squeezes up between Jeff Gordon and the wall, which causes Jeff to back out of the gas, and when he does, loses that momentum, bam, Bobby Labonte just shoots by.
Jeff still has led the most laps, 57, but now with Bobby Labonte back in the lead, he is leading for the 22nd lap of the 121 that have been completed so far. 125 laps completed at the Pepsi 400 at Michigan Speedway. Bobby Labonte is the leader by about a half second over Jeff Gordon, with Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton, and John Andretti in the top five.
And he still hasn't been able to put the 4 car of Bobby Hamilton, the Kodak Film Chevrolet, a lap down. As a matter of fact, now he just pulls in behind him. Hamilton is hanging tough.
Yes, he is. And Matt Kenseth, who was in that picture a little bit ago, he's driven off from him.
Yeah. While they've been battling, Matt's just driven off. There he is. It's a bit of racetrack between himself and Bobby Hamilton.
And there comes Dale Jarrett right up behind Jeff Gordon. So they're going to have these first 3 cars almost no failure in about a half a lap.
And then he looked up ahead and saw Labonte and Gordon fighting all that traffic, and that was, hey, I like that. Let's catch up. He's just past the same cars, but if they get by before he gets there, then they'll already be that lap down, so it shouldn't be as hard for him to pass them as it has been for Labonte and Gordon.
Here's the Bud Race recap. Bobby Labonte has led 26 of the first 126. 12 lead changes, 2 caution periods totaling 10 laps. They're averaging a little more than 154 miles an hour. Those who have led a lap include the following. Wally Dallenbach led as pit stops were being made, and so did Robert Presley. Tony Stewart. Ward Burton, the pole sitter, led the opening lap, and that was it. And you will see as we go to the cars that are off the track, only one, Ted Musgrave, and the only car officially out of the race is Burton, who crashed up in turn number 3. And they're still trying to put Bobby Hamilton a lap down.
I talked about the 88 cars. As a matter of fact, the 99 car is also just about caught up with this group. He's only about a second and a half by now. They're going to go 3. What? No. There we see Jeff Burton right behind.
And here comes Jarrett closing in, and also Jeff Burton.
And the battle for the lead as the Circuit City onboard camera watches that 24 DuPont Chevrolet drive by.
Up on the outside. Steve Park. See, don't stick it up in between them. No, he knows better. He's going to follow Gordon.
There's on the right side, Dale Jarrett and Jeff Burton. More from Bill Weber.
Well, after that last pit stop, I talked to Gordon's crew chief, Ray Evernham, about the right rear tire wear, and he says it is still there. He can still see signs of it. He still believes it will get better in the final. One car on the wall now. Car on the wall.
Being behind. Call Caution is out.
The 77 car of Robert Presley sliding on the grass inside of turn number 4 to bring out another caution period, our third of the day. Pretty heavy damage there to the left front of the race car.
But it isn't that left side pancake.
And the 4 car and the 1 car of Steve Park passed Jeff Gordon when he slowed down, so those guys are going to get back on the lead lap. They fought hard and worked for him.
It worked for him. Good way to go, guys.
And we see Robert Presley driving his car down onto pit road, so he's okay.
This is really the break that Mark Martin, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, this is a break he needed. He was about 20 seconds behind the leaders. Now he'll be right back up there with them.
What happened to Robert Presley at the top right side of your frame? There's Robert impacting the wall.
It was coming off turn 4. Wasn't too far behind the leaders and shoots back down in between some traffic.
Wow.
Down the grass area.
Only 1 car involved. Let's check Bill Elliott's McDonald's onboard and see if we have any idea what might have happened. All happens in front of him, we can't tell.
But he comes down between Joe Nemechek and Bill Elliott. Looked like he may have been running by himself up there where the incident occurred. Well, pace car is now leading the field. As on the 131st lap, we should see some pit stops now.
You know, it looked to me like that some of the lead cars were a little squirrely coming off of turn 4 that time. I wonder if there was a slick spot up on that racetrack.
Now they're holding the 25 and the 1 car and not allowing those cars to get their lap back. That's Wally Dallenbach and Steve Park. NASCAR now makes judgment calls, and if these cars are not in contact with the leader when the caution flag comes out, they don't allow them to race back. If you're in contact, if you're only a car length or 2 behind the leaders, then you can, but they, I guess, are figuring that Steve Park, I would have thought he'd been close enough, but...
Well, Bobby Hamilton was. He did get his lap back. Yes. Now on board the Pontiac pace car as we look back to Jeff Gordon. Should be seeing Jeff go to the left here momentarily and head down pit road.
And one good thing about this, with 70 laps to go, I don't think this is going to be a fuel mileage race, and a car will be able to go the rest of the way from here.
No, they can't go that far.
Come the top 4, then Mark Martin, John Andretti, Tony Stewart, Chad Little, Jimmy Spencer, down to Bill Weber.
Gordon's been very unhappy with his car. He said, I'm not sure if it's the track or the tires. Well, Ray's obviously going to change 4 tires. He's also going to change the air pressure. Half a round out of the right rear of the wedge compartment. The car is loose in. It rolls over in the middle. It's okay off the Jerry Punch.
Chevrolet Pontiac Ford. That's the stack in the box there. Gordon, Labonte, Jarrett. Jarrett is out. Gordon is out. Labonte, an air pressure change in the right front. He is down and away. But looks like the battle back down to the end of pit road. Gordon will be out, but Labonte may have had the best, or did have the best pit stop of the 3, 15.8 seconds. Let's go up to John Kernan.
Tony Stewart, a 4-tire change in fuel. The only adjustment in the air pressure, they went down about a half a pound on all 4 tires. But other than that, Tony says he likes the way the car feels. And right before they made the pit stop, Greg Ziffidelli, his crew chief, told the crew, said, hey, this is what we needed to catch us up with the guys at the front. But they will have to make 1 more pit stop, as will everybody else, unless somebody's got one of those Darrell Waltrip kind of fuel cells.
69 laps to go. They definitely will have to have 1 more pit stop. Okay, while we're under caution, a break, and we'll be back with more live coverage from Michigan in a moment. Just as you rejoin us, the cars cross the line, get the green flag, and we go back to racing in the Pepsi 400. Jeff Gordon leads Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton, and Tony Stewart.
Now, Steve Park, the Pennzoil car on the inside, is going to seriously try to get his lap back now. These cars have 4 fresh tires. Man, what a mess, Ned.
Yeah, you get these cars all bunched up together, you'd have a mess.
Ooh, Tony Stewart went high, low, and here we go. Dale Jarrett on the inside. He goes by Park. He won't even go back. Jeff Gordon.
What happened? The 1 car, Steve Park, very hard and carried Jeff Gordon up a little bit higher than he wanted to be. That allowed Jarrett to go by on the inside.
Just sit back, watch, and listen with us. Once again.
It's okay to talk now. And guess who's in third spot? Tony Stewart. That Home Depot Pontiac gets by his teammate, gets by Labonte, and sets off after the front two.
Martin in the middle of that pack. He is currently in 10th position. That is Dick Trickle over on the right side of him. There's Little E, Dale Earnhardt Jr. up ahead also. Earnhardt is a lap down in 24th position. Earnhardt Jr., that is. His father, Dale Sr., is running 6th.
Martin now moves back to the 11th position.
Bill Elliott also right in the middle of this scramble down the backstretch. Bill is 2 laps down now, 35th position, and Tony Stewart wants 2nd as he comes to the inside of Dale Jarrett.
And he's got his teammate Bobby Labonte there pushing him right along. Those two Pontiacs teamed up together, and both of them have been running very fast all day anyway.
The last Pontiac to win here was 10 years ago when Rusty Wallace won the Pepsi 400.
Almost contact there between DJ and Bobby Labonte. And DJ, once again, we saw Jeff Gordon do it a few laps ago to back off that gas and look at a run that Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt gets on him.
Earnhardt to the bottom side of the racetrack. They make it 3 wide coming out of 4.
And here goes Earnhardt driving to the inside.
Dale Earnhardt is 3rd.
Wow.
Chad Little having a good run, been to the top 10 almost all race. He's now 7th, battling with Labonte.
And Jeff Burton.
Caution's out for that medal down here in 1. Caution's out.
Here gets a medal in turn 1.
The 20 car was about to make a run on Jeff Gordon, and that, of course, was Tony Stewart, but he'll have to wait till after the rerun again.
Yep.
Now then, the question prize to be asked, can someone run 60 laps on fuel?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think so.
60 to go right now. They will, I guess, be able to open the pits next lap. Down to Jerry Punch.
We've been doing sort of an informal survey, which began about 6:30 this morning in the garage area. How far could you go if you had to go on fuel? And the undisputed winner of my survey was the 18 car, and they just confirmed it to me a moment ago. They could go, if they could come in on lap 143 and top off, they could go the rest of the way, and no one else is within a lap of them on fuel, according to my calculations this morning. Going again, I hope they were all telling the truth.
Wow.
Yeah, that would really be stretching it.
So the caution is out once again for the 4th time this afternoon, this time for a piece of metal down in turn number 1. It's Gordon, Stewart, Earnhardt, Jarrett, and Burton. ESPN's live coverage of the Pepsi 400 from Michigan Speedway being brought to you by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. By the White Track Pontiac Grand Prix, wider is better. And by Polaris Watercraft, ride the best. Caution is still out here. We've got at least one more lap until green. Time enough to get in another quick commercial break so we can bring you the green flag action from Michigan. At the Michigan Speedway on pit road, they look to their drivers, Jeff Gordon, who is leading the race, Tony Stewart running in 2nd, and Dale Earnhardt now up in 3rd spot as we get set to go back to green flag racing. Below their running position are the points position. You see Dale Jarrett, the points leader. Dale Earnhardt 7th in the points. Tony Stewart 6th. Gordon 5th, and Jeff Burton in 4th. Here we get set now for the restart once again. Everybody up on his feet.
And Bob, for the fans that wondered if any of the lead cars stopped for fuel, no, they did not. They didn't figure they could make it the rest of the way, so there will have to be at least a splash and go for all of those up front.
Trying to look on the inside of Stewart. He's trying to look on the inside of Ford. And Tony Stewart has a lead off, too.
Well, we have talked about how that car works down on the inside, and he just got a run down on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Earnhardt trying to get around. Jeff Gordon taking over second place.
Here comes Jarrett to the inside of Jeffrey Bodine, who is a lap down. 21st with 20 cars on the lead lap. Tony Stewart led a lap earlier. While pit stops were being made, Tony now has the front position once again. He started back in 37th position, has been as low as 38th, but now is the leader. Here's John Kernan with more.
Bob, just as Tony Stewart came through the trial, we'll hear he radioed to the crew. He said, "Hey, guys, how does this look?" And Greg Zipadelli radioed back and said, "It looks beautiful, baby."
Tony Stewart 6th in the point standing since 1958, when the Rookie of the Year was first selected. The highest finishing rookie was in 1966 when James Helton finished 2nd. Only 5 of the 41 Rookies of the Year have finished in the top 10, 6 rookies in all. The last driver to finish in the top 10 was Jody Ridley in 1980. Bill Weber has more on Jeff Gordon.
Well, it's a frustrating ride right now for Gordon. Loose, loose, loose. And what he told Ray Evernham under caution is that the car is good at the beginning after they change tires, but as soon as it heats up, the right rear starts to go away, the grip starts to go away. The clouds will help them a little bit, but not much. Gordon's not very happy with his car, but he's not the only guy out there complaining about it.
And they talk about the clouds. They're over about 60% of the racetrack right now. This portion we're in now is a shaded area of the track. Only halfway through turns 3 and 4 down to the start-finish line is under the sun.
Now, what do you think, BP? Here's Tony Stewart, who's in his rookie season here, and he's been driving race cars for a long time. He probably idolizes Dale Earnhardt. What do you think he's thinking about as he looks in his rearview mirror?
I don't know, Bob. Would he want to see Jeff Gordon? Would he want to be Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt? Maybe Earnhardt would be the guy, but here goes Earnhardt for the lead.
Looks like the Dale Earnhardt of old.
Yes, it does. Well, he's good at this racetrack, or at least he was in the IROC race that we televised for you earlier this year. He won, of course, at Talladega in 1999, and he is out front here at Michigan.
Here comes Jeff Gordon trying to get back on the inside of Dale Jarrett to retake that 3rd position. Dale Earnhardt's car today has been good on a restart for about 10 or 15 laps. Let's see this time if he has any staying power. He's able to keep that Goodrich Chevrolet in front.
This is only the 5th race that Dale Earnhardt led in 1999. Oh, big crash. Several cars going to be involved. Many take evasive action and go down pit road at well over 100 miles an hour. Ricky Rudd slides through the grass right at the start-finish line, and Kevin LePage also takes a shortcut through the grass.
I think they're both going to be able to continue on.
I think Rudd's car has a lot of damage to it. And I don't know who's that car. Is that Kendrick up against the wall? No, that's Dick Trickle's car.
Trickle right up against the outside wall, about 50 feet from the start-finish line. And here comes Dale Earnhardt to take the caution flag ahead of Tony Stewart. Dale Earnhardt Jr. tried to get his lap back, so did Jeffrey Bodine, but neither one of them were successful.
And we're in the window now, Bob, that we'll see most of them make pit stops. They should be able to go on fuel the rest of the distance.
Yep, when they come around next time, they'll complete the 150th lap, so they will be within their fuel window. Here's a replay of what happened up in turn 4.
Kevin Page looks like gets bumped by someone. He spins around. Then Ernie Irvin gets hit by Ricky Rudd when he backs off the gas. Those two cars go, and now we see all the other cars. Ooh, was that Rusty Wallace? Yes, it just barely got missed. I keep saying Ernie Irvin. It's Dick Trickle in the M&M's car.
I was going to correct you. Now from Ricky Rudd's onboard camera, looking back.
He didn't get hit from behind. I thought someone ran the back of Ricky Rudd, but he did not get hit from behind.
Right behind the front runners. The incident took place. There's Trickle slamming against the outside wall and Rudd diving down. And look at the cars, about what, 7 or 8 cars taking evasive action and going down pit road.
Of course, they're allowed to speed down pit road under this circumstance.
That's Kenny Wallace right behind. John?
Dale Earnhardt's the leader, first guy to hit the pits. Right side's going on. No adjustments, no air pressure adjustments. Car's been pretty good. They've been adjusting on it all day. They think they've got it where they need it. Now left's going on. He's full of fuel. He should be able to go the rest of the way to Bill Weber.
4 tires and a track bar adjustment for Gordon. They rip away and tear away on the rear windshield. They come around to the left side. Again, this is 4 tires and track bar adjustment to try and correct the loose conditions. Jerry.
4 tires and a wash of the windshield, but no adjustment for Bobby Labonte. And Labonte is down and away as Earnhardt, Gordon, Labonte, and a host of others as they head down pit road and what will probably be the last scheduled pit stop of the day.
And guys, we saw several just take on 2 tires and some maybe with just a splash of gas. Mark Martin was one of those that didn't get 4 tires because he got out very quick. Here's Rudd coming down pit road with that damage that he has on his Tide Ford.
On the left front of the car, he has some damage after spinning. They try to get the sheet metal away from the left front.
See him working. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the sheet metal away, but looks like he has some pretty serious damage there left side. Maybe not. Hopefully not.
Ricky had a good run going here today. That's going to ruin his day. But we have a really good race going on here. This is the incident that also involved Dick Trickle, Kevin LePage, and others that have brought out our 5th caution flag on the afternoon here in the Pepsi 400. We'll be back with more of our live coverage here on ESPN in just a moment. And once again, just as you rejoin us, we are set to go back to racing here at Michigan Speedway. This will complete the 153rd lap.
Green flag, green flag.
The leader of the race is Michael Waltrip, with Elliott Sadler second and Jimmy Spencer, Mark Martin, and Jeff Burton, but the positions are going to shuffle as they head for the corner.
Boy, this is going to be a real mess. Here goes Mark Martin trying to get Michael Waltrip very behind the racetrack. It's like he's missed a shift or something.
Well, either has a flat or something.
Goes Earnhardt by Kenny Wallace. Here comes Jerry Nadeau, John Andretti. They're everywhere on both sides, Kenny.
And Mark Martin is going to come out of this with the lead. Those 3 cars ahead of him are not on the lead lap or getting back on the lead lap. Bobby Labonte is stuck way back in the field, and so is Tony Stewart. Bobby Labonte is back in 12th, Stewart 13th. Dale Jarrett is also in traffic as he runs back in the 10th position.
Where those leaders want to be, those who have been leading all day want to be, but that's where they are, caught up in some heavy, heavy stuff.
And there's Tony Stewart trying to go by on the outside. Matt Kenseth, the DeWalt car, still in the lead lap. Meanwhile, they're going to be 4 abreast off the corner.
Kenny Schrader up on top. Stewart looks high, looks low.
58 car of Hutch Strickland now under attack from Bob Labonte and Tony Stewart. DJ gets by Matt Kenseth. And Jeff Gordon trying to get by Jerry Nadeau just to the left side of our screen. And here comes Earnhardt on the inside of Jimmy Spencer. That's for the third position.
And make that second as he battles alongside Elliott Sadler. So put Earnhardt in second. Now he sets his sights on the leader, Mark Martin, just ahead. Bill Weber has more on Martin.
Well, an outstanding run for Mark. They took just 2 right side tires on that last pit stop. Jimmy Fennick said the left side tires have been good all day. In fact, he said they've had a good car, just lousy luck. He fell all the way back to 32nd after being penalized for a questionable call for going too fast down pit road. Now he's where a lot of people thought he would be late in this race, at the front.
Mark Martin has finished in the top 10 in all 5 points races in this car that he's competed in this season, including the 4 top 5 efforts. The car debuted at the Winston. Here is Jarrett now.
Oh, points leader tried to squeeze up in front of Hutch Strickland. There wasn't quite enough room. He had to once again squeeze out of the throttle, look to run out of Hutch Strickland has it.
Hutch Strickland running at 11. Dale Jarrett in 12th position. And Earnhardt takes the lead. He is awfully strong this afternoon. Down to John Kernan.
That's a brand new car for Dale Earnhardt. The only problem they had was fixing the tight condition. Now they apparently have that fixed. I should say another problem that they had was with the fuel receptacle. The seal is not very good, so he was actually leaking some fuel from the car while running at speed out on the racetrack. But they still think, even though he leaked a little fuel, that he should be able to go the final, what was it, 47, 48 laps under green to the finish.
Yep.
So they think...
Sorry, John, Bobby Labonte's been able to get by Tony Stewart. Yes, John, I have seen some of that fuel leaking out of the 3 car.
Here comes John Andretti to the inside of the 58 car and running side by side. Cars were running side by side a few moments ago. Look at Tony Stewart from Bobby Labonte's onboard camera. And boom.
He says, come on, Bobby, I'll give you a hand. Ever seen the fuel? Once again, and Earnhardt's losing a lot of fuel, man.
Yes, he is. And boy, if it's going to be marginal, losing that much fuel is going to put it even more marginal.
Because a gallon of fuel might be the difference between making it and not making it.
Jeremy Mayfield goes a lap down. He's in 20th position.
You know, the last caution flag when we saw Kevin LePage go around, and I wondered if he'd gotten bumped from behind. Will we finally have an onboard camera out of Kenny Wallace's State Fair onboard camera? And watch as he comes off turn 4. The white car in front is Kevin LePage. LePage gets up in the loose stuff and just basically loses control off turn 4. So Kenny has been absolved.
Absolutely. From the angle that we saw, it looked like there may have been some contact, but absolutely not.
Jeff Gordon's been able to get by Jimmy Spencer. Oh, and here's Tony Stewart on the 8. Tony, the racetrack to the right there.
Ooh, that's
and they Burton spins and crashes.
Here goes spin, here goes spin. Stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down.
Boy, that was a rookie mistake there. He got that car all 4 wheels down on the flat part. It had no way to go but up coming out through there, and Jeff Burton was in the way.
Man, oh, man. And Bill Elliott is going to be able to make up one of his laps if Jeff Burton tries to drive a wrecked race car away. So it's not been a good day for the Burton family at Michigan.
It definitely has not. Heel comes down now to take the caution flag for the 6th time this afternoon. Watch it again. They're coming off corner number 4.
You see the yellow car, the orange car of Tony Stewart get all the way down on the flat. And when he comes back up, There's Jeff Burton. He clips him just enough to get him out of control. Now, certainly Tony had a run and the speed to get down there, but you get those cars, all four wheels down on the flat part of the racetrack, you're going to have a tough time controlling that race car.
And one reason that Jeff Burton spun, because when Tony came back up in front of him so abruptly, he backed off the gas. Mm-hmm. And these cars with the locker gears, with more stagger in the rear, when you back off that gas, it will jerk the car sideways.
Down to John Kernan.
Tony Stewart told his crew chief Greg Zipadelli that Burton more or less, as he got the run, that Burton came down and forced him to go down on the flat of the racetrack. He did not do that by design, do that on purpose. And I don't think I can't see it from this side, as we look at it from Burton's in-car, that there's enough damage on Tony's car. They've talked about it, and I don't think he'll come in. You might have a better look at the damage on the right side of that car than I have.
Burton, I think Jeff Burton was trying to get away from the 23 car, and he was trying to get away from the 23 so that the cars being side by side would not slow him down. He was trying to put some air between himself and the 23 car, and I don't think he had any idea that Tony Stewart was on the bottom of the racetrack.
Burton has made it to pit road. They changed the tires and get the sheet metal from the left rear of the car, and Jeff Burton goes back into competition, but probably not in a winning mode anymore. We'll be right back. We're live at Michigan Speedway for the Pepsi 400, and coming up on Friday, we'll have Bud Pohl qualifying from Bristol at 5 o'clock on the Deuce. RPM tonight at 6:30, and the Food City 250 at 7 o'clock on Friday night on the Deuce. Now on Saturday at 2:30, catch the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in action at Topeka, Kansas in the O'Reilly Auto Parts 275. Catch a quick bite to eat, and then join us for more NASCAR coverage at 7 o'clock Saturday night. NASCAR today at 7 o'clock. Goody's Headache Powder 500 Winston Cup race at 7:30. And RPM tonight at midnight. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network, Go.com. Bill Weber.
Well, Jeff Burton has made his second visit to pit road. The first time they changed the 4 flat tires and sent him back out. Now they've taken off the left rear. They're going to have to cut out some rubber from the shredded left rear tire. He doesn't have brakes, and remember, this is the guy that is 4th in points.
Caution is still waving here at Michigan. We'll sneak in another quick break. 164 laps are in. Green at Michigan in the Pepsi 400 with 166 laps down. And up front is Dale Earnhardt, followed by Martin, Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Jimmy Spencer. They're 3 and 4 wide and 5 wide going down the backstretch.
Man, oh man, somebody's going to have to get in line. I hope they all got in line. Well, a reasonable facsimile of it anyway.
But look at them, they're coming back again.
Kenny Wallace down on the bottom side of the racetrack. On board with Kenny, there's Sterling Martin on the left. Here comes Jeffrey Bodine. Rich Bickle is right behind Kenny.
Rusty Wallace is in that group.
So is Kenny Irwin, Steve Park. It's Kevin LePage down on the very bottom of the track. There's
David
Dale
Green. David Green's trying to go 4 wide or 5 wide down the backstretch.
Jeff Gordon taking over the second spot from Mark Martin. Dale Earnhardt at the line has a 0.6 of a second lead on Jeff Gordon. Let's go back to the accident that just occurred, the one that started at the off turn 4.
And as they were coming to the start-finish line, Jeff Burton was on the inside of the 23 car of Jimmy Spencer, and he went down, and Tony Stewart had a good run going and got all 4 wheels down on the flat, came back up and clipped the 99 car. I said it was a rookie mistake. He had that momentum going. I guess anybody would have done that. I don't know.
I think that Jeff Burton was trying to get away from the 23 car, again, as I said, and had no idea that Tony Stewart was on the bottom of the racetrack.
They moved slowed down to the inside of the racetrack at exactly the same time, and that's what happened. We're on board with Dale Jarrett. Up ahead is Jimmy Spencer, who has only one top 10 this year on an oval track. That was at Loudon. He finished 9th, and right now he is right up there in the thick of things, although he just did lose a spot to Tony Stewart, and now here comes Dale Jarrett.
And also Rick Mass has got a great run going in the Woody Woodpecker car.
Team Woody doing well. That's Rick Mass there in the yellow car, multicolored car. And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's a lap down in 21st, and Gordon has caught Dale Earnhardt.
And he looks high. Coming off the turn, but Earnhardt's taking his route that he's been taking. Bobby Labonte has moved right up there with him, too. That 18 car has come from pretty far back.
So it looks like those two-tire stops that Mark Martin and Jeff Burton, a couple of cars made, did not work out too well for them, Ned.
I don't think so, because they had a full run to make, almost 100 miles to make on them, although the left side tires, they say, have not been wearing that badly today, but still had some heat in them, and you wonder if it was the smart thing to do.
Dale Earnhardt started this race in 38th position. And a Hardee's field summary shows you the points right now. Gordon moves up another, and so does Tony Stewart, as Jeff Burton, because of that incident, drops down 2 spots in the point standings to 6th. The last time a race was won from 38th position was Jeff Burton at Loudon earlier this year. Last year, Bill Elliott, rather in 1988, Bill Elliott did it from the 38th starting spot at Daytona. And you go way back to 1953 at Raleigh when Fonty Flock won from 43rd starting position, and Johnny Mance won the first Darlington in 1950 from 43rd starting position.
Boy, this entire crowd are on their feet right now, Bob. They know that they're seeing another great race here at the Michigan Speedway, much better than we saw in June here.
And the two guys that are battling for the lead, Dale Earnhardt in the 3 car, Jeff Gordon in 24. They haven't had a chance to do this very much, not since the Daytona 500, as a matter of fact. And here comes Gordon. Does he have a run? Does he have the room? Not quite.
And Jeff Gordon battled with Earnhardt yesterday in the Busch Series race. Dale Earnhardt Jr., that is. And he ended up winning, of course.
Junior did.
So at this point, a big weekend for the Earnhardts. The Pennzoil Copter Cam is following the top 3 for you from overhead Michigan Speedway down the backstretch. Earnhardt, Gordon, and Bobby Labonte.
Well, Jeff Gordon tried something different that last corner and lost 3 or 4 car lengths. I'm not sure he wants to try that again.
He's searching for a spot that'll make that DuPont Chevrolet just a little bit faster.
Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett are battling for the 5th position.
As Tony Stewart has been able to get by and take over that spot in the Home Depot Pontiac.
Now Mark drops back to 6th.
Well, you just mentioned it, Ned, but it is a completely different race than what we saw in June when Dale dominated this race, led all but about 50 laps. We didn't have any cautions. We talked about it earlier as we see Jeff Gordon now trying to take the lead away from Dale Earnhardt. Is it because of the tire situation, or what's different about today? Gordon looks like he's going to get it.
He's on the outside. That's the spot he wants to be.
Whoa!
Got to turn on.
It's because of cautions, Bob. That's why we're seeing a better race. There were no cautions in June, and we've had several here today. Bunched the cars up. The teams have had a chance to work on their cars more than they did on green flag pit stops in June.
And now Earnhardt's going back on the inside of Gordon. Jeff Gordon has had all kinds of problems down in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is working okay for him, but he cannot get through 1 and 2.
Probably the 2 drivers who evoke the most emotion from the crowd here. We've got people standing up cheering for Dale Earnhardt, and we have almost as many standing up cheering for Jeff Gordon when he is in the lead. Bobby Labonte is just waiting back here in 3rd watching.
And here's the spot that Jeff Gordon is really struggling trying to get around the racetrack. Now, this is his sweet spot up in 3 and 4. He'll go in on the top side of Dale Earnhardt and once again try to drive by. Oh, Earnhardt went up there with him. Now Labonte decides to go on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Yeah, he says, if you're going to give me this part down here, I'll take it.
Wow. Is he going to be able to get the lead? No. Earnhardt will lead that lap. Earnhardt has not had a top 5 finish here since June of 1994.
And once again, Jeff Gord's car just goes in the corner and takes off. Look at Bobby Labonte goes on the inside.
Surprised you. You're right. That turns 1 and 2 is his nemesis right now, whatever that word is.
We know what you mean.
Okay.
Side by side, Labonte and Gordon.
And while they're doing all that racing up there, Tony Stewart is closing in on them.
It's only about a second and a half behind in 4th spot, with Jarrett about 1.9 seconds behind. And Gordon maintains 2nd position.
And once again, Jeff Gordon goes in the corner, and about right here, sometimes his car just takes off and shoots at the top of the racetrack.
On the other hand, Tony Stewart is plastered to the bottom, right along that line at the bottom of the track.
Last time by, Tony Stewart, about a half mile per hour. Check our AutoZone on-track interval. You see he's gained a half second, but taking 5 laps to it. That just goes to show you how close these cars are.
But he'll probably be able to do it a little bit quicker now, Benny, because he's close enough now to pick up a little bit of draft, which will certainly help him down the straightaways.
Here's our points leader, Dale Jarrett. Running back in the 5th position. Mark Martin, who is 2nd in points, runs in 6th. The top 3 are Earnhardt, Gordon, Labonte, and there is the 4th place car of Tony Stewart. And last time around, Stewart was still the fastest car on the racetrack.
If Jeff Gordon can find him a line down in 1 and 2 that the DuPont Chevrolet likes, he'll be hard to beat. But if he, so far, he's not been able to. He's looked, he's searched, but so far he just can't find it.
Let's check the speeds at the line that time. Bobby Labonte was the quickest car, with Stewart 2nd and Gordon 3rd. There are now less than 20 laps to go. Copter cam, they race down into turn number 3. Jeff Gordon has not finished outside the top 6 in the last 9 races. Once again, he goes way up at the top of the racetrack, but cannot take the lead from Earnhardt. Now he pulls alongside, and he may have a run here.
He's got that run that he wants.
Oh!
That's so close, so very, very close.
And you know, Earnhardt wasn't going to back off.
But now look at Jeff's car going to corner. Can he keep it down? Will it stay down?
But look at Bobby Labonte. Now he'll get a run coming off of this corner as a result of them being side by side. Let's see if he can get enough momentum to pull on the inside. Nope, he's going to sit there and watch him for a moment, and it just brings Tony Stewart that much closer.
NASCAR racing the way it should be.
This is a classic battle.
And once again, Gordon inches ahead, coming across the line.
But here comes Bobby Labonte down the inside. There's 3 away for the lead.
Well, that's the way it is race here in Michigan. Good to see it happening again. Goodyear looks like did the right thing. We're bringing those tires the way they are because it has produced some great racing. And look at Stewart now, Bob.
Right down on the bottom of the racetrack, and he has caught up with the top 3. It's now a 4-car battle for the lead with less than 18 laps to go.
2 laps ago, Dale Earnhardt was Jeff Gordon's enemy. Now he's his friend as he tries to use the draft of Earnhardt to stay in front of Labonte and Stewart. But I don't think it's going to work. Labonte move up. Yes, now he's got that 2nd spot.
Here comes Tony Stewart to challenge Jeff Gordon, and Bobby Labonte will go to the bottom of the racetrack and take the lead from Dale Earnhardt.
And Tony Stewart's going to try to go in it.
The Joe Gibbs drivers are 1st and 4th. Stewart doesn't venture up in that outside line, does he?
No,
Right
he
on the
doesn't.
bottom. And he takes third from Jeff.
And he tries to go for second. He's on the bottom of the racetrack, down in 1 and 2. Oh, and he's going to get loose. As Gordon gets alongside, Jeff pulled up, got him loose, and takes that third spot back.
Now that's where experience paid off. Jeff Gordon is a master at getting right up on the back bumper of somebody and making the back end loose on him. He had to back off, and there he went.
Jerry Punch has a comment on the leader of the race, Bobby Labonte.
After Bobby made that pass a moment ago, Jimmy Makar and Christie said, okay, no mirror driving. Don't look back. Look out your windshield and run your own line. Forget about those guys behind you. And Bobby's done that, and he's pulling away.
Bobby Labonte has won 3 races in 1999. He won at Dover, and he swept both races at Pocono. He's now more than a second ahead of Dale Earnhardt as we have less than 15 to go at Michigan. Earnhardt Jr. looking to the inside once again as they come to the corner. Now he's going to go to the high side. Son and father test coming down on the line. Oh, leaders! Man, oh man, man. Wow, what a finish. Well, that was 2 months, a little more than 2 months ago when Dale Earnhardt won the IROC race here in Michigan, battling with his son. Right now, Dale's slipping back. He is about to lose the third position to Dale Jarrett as Bobby Labonte is driven away. Jeff Gordon is second, almost 1 3/4 seconds behind, and now Jarrett to the inside of Earnhardt in the battle for the third spot with Tony Stewart looking on in fifth.
That's been Earnhardt's car all day. He really runs well for 20, 30 laps after a tire change, and then the car starts just slowly getting a little bit slower and slower, and the same thing is happening again.
Here's the Hardee's field summary showing you the point standings with Jeff Gordon moving up to fourth in the points. If we were to stop it right now with Stewart up a spot to fifth, the big loser in the point standings, at least to this point in the race, has been Jeff Burton, who's down to sixth spot. Everybody else in the top 10 stays the same. John Kernan has more on Dale Earnhardt, who's now back to fifth as Tony Stewart passes him.
Bob Dale just radioed the crew and say the car just will not turn in the corners. It's just like Benny said, after about, 20 laps or so, the handling just goes away. It gets really, really tight. So he's got a handful right now trying to nurse it the final 10 laps.
10 laps to go now, 190 complete.
Now, Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett's going to have his hands full with Tony Stewart before this day is done, I believe, Ned.
Yeah, he passed him DJ passed Tony pretty easy there on the outside when they came up on a lap car, but now Tony got that inside working for himself again. DJ's car not working too good off of turn 2, sort of like we said Jeff Gordon's was doing a little bit earlier.
So Stewart to third, Jarrett back to fourth, then Earnhardt. Bobby Labonte got the lead. It was see you later, wasn't it?
He took off.
He pulled away to a second and a half on Jeff Gordon, but Jeff Gordon right now is running as fast as Bobby Labonte. Some laps he even runs a little bit quicker, but we're running out of time.
Less than 9 to go. Here's John Andretti running at the top of the racetrack. He's in 10th position, and Rick Mast is in 11th, so that is the battle for 10th. And how about Elliott Sadler?
How about him? 12th position. That's set, go forward. Attaboy, Elliott. And right in front of these guys, Hutch Strickland.
Yes.
9th place.
Yeah, Hutch Strickland has had a good weekend. Talked to Donnie Allison, who helps with this team, and he has a lot of confidence in the team and in Hutch Strickland.
His son-in-law.
Yes. Well, Rick Mast now moving down low and trying to challenge John Andretti.
Will be for the 10th position.
Ooh, Andretti comes up that corner, almost runs into the wall, and Bobby Hamilton, this close to the end, is slow.
He had stayed on the lead lap up to right now in 18th position. Let's talk about Dale Earnhardt Jr., who had the big day yesterday when he won the Busch Series race. Started in good shape here this weekend in the Winston Cup race, but has dropped back to 26th position. He is a lap down.
Started in 17th, but he's run all day.
Yes.
And that's what he was not able to do in Loudon. He did not run, did not get some laps on the racetrack. This is just invaluable for this young man.
Matt Kenseth, the other Busch Series star who started the race here today, is in 16th position, and Matt is still on the lead lap. The 97 car of Chad Little took 4 tires on that last pit stop, and he has moved up to 6th position.
37 laps. I noticed he made that pit stop, and he was went back to about 16th or 17th, and I wondered, was that good strategy because he only had 37 laps to go? Well, yes, Jeff Hammond and the guys, that was good strategy.
Chad Little had 2 top 10s in the first 4 races of the year and hasn't had a top 10 since then, his best being at Texas, where he finished 13th. But Chad has a very good run going here in the 6th position.
And he's, as we said, he's gaining on Dale Earnhardt, who is running in 5th. And Dale is sort of losing the cars of Dale Jarrett and Tony Stewart.
And here is Elliott Sadler now moving up to 11th, passing Rick Mast. There are less than 5 laps to go in the Pepsi 400. Bobby Labonte's lead is 1.59 seconds.
Looks like, well, Elliott Sadler's not happy with that spot. He wants another one.
Yeah, they give me a top 10.
Boy, the Wood Brothers. Oh, the car right behind him just blowing up.
Kenny Irwin.
Will there be a caution?
No caution yet. He quickly got it down to the inside of the racetrack.
He is out of the groove on the apron of the racetrack. Hopefully it will not bring out a caution. We can see this race go green the rest of the way. And look at Chad Little close in on Dale Earnhardt. 4th, 5th.
If there's any oil on the racetrack, trust me, Tony Stewart will find it because that's his groove. It doesn't seem to be.
Well, I don't know. Something happened to him as he came off of turn 2. He lost a lot of momentum, Tony Stewart did, because Dale Jarrett was a second behind him, and now he's right on his back bumper and pulling up the side of him.
4 from John Kernan.
Tony just radioed his crew and said he did get into something. They told him that in turns 1 and 2, he said that they told him it was clean, and after that he slowed down. He said, no, it's not clean up there. He says, it's pretty dirty. I slid through it.
Yeah, he really lost some momentum there. And let's see if he's going to move up a little higher on the racetrack this time, which is smart.
Exactly. He's not going back to that same well twice, but now he's caught Dick Trickle, which slowed his progress a little bit. Now Jarrett still closes up around that back bumper.
Only 1 race has Tony Stewart not been the highest finishing rookie, and that was Buckshot Jones when he was in contention for Rookie of the Year honors in Las Vegas.
And Stewart was caught up in a wreck in that event, not of his own doing.
Less than 2 laps to go in the Pepsi 400. Here comes Stewart and Dale Jarrett down through the tri-oval and completing the 198th lap.
And Jeff Gordon is now 1 3/4 seconds behind Bobby Labonte, so whatever charge he was making has stalled.
Bobby Labonte swept both races here at Michigan in 1995. So he has won twice, looking for win number 3. The white flag comes out. 1 more lap to go. The interval, you can see, between 1st and 2nd, officially 1.54 seconds. Gordon is in 2nd.
I think Bobby Labonte is soft-covered a little bit right now.
Yeah, he can see that big check coming here before long.
3 wins in 1999 at Dover, both races at Pocono. Bobby Labonte now in turn number 4. And the checkered flag waves. Bobby Labonte has his 4th win of 1999, his 11th career win. Here's the battle between Chad Little and Dale Earnhardt. And Earnhardt is going to take the 5th position. And John Andretti and Elliott Sadler are battling to the line and give Andretti the 10th position with Sadler 11th. By the way, Tony Stewart finished third, Dale Jarrett fourth, and Dale Earnhardt was fifth. The Bobby Labonte crew
saying a prayer.
Yep.
Joe Gibbs, of course, the leader, the owner, is a very religious individual. Let's go to the pits and Bill Wells.
Well, as his crew celebrates on pit road with a silent prayer there, Jimmy, congratulations, your fourth win of the year, an outstanding run, like you were shot out of a cannon.
I don't know about that. I'll tell you, Bobby Labonte deserves a lot of credit for it today. We didn't have a real good race car yesterday evening, and we worked really hard on it last night and changed a lot of things this morning with a lot of help from the 20 car. I got to thank Greg and Tony. We put all our notes together and come up with a setup for today, and we just kind of going on a wing and a prayer. And the car wasn't bad at the beginning, and really we really didn't touch a wedge bolt all day. We just a lot of air pressure adjustments during the day, and Bobby just adapted to what he had to do, and like I said, he did a great job staying poised and staying out of trouble. In a couple instances there, we could have gotten in trouble, and he just I give a lot of credit to my driver.
Some great racing out there today. Perhaps that solves the tire question.
Yeah, it was an awful lot of good racing going on. So obviously, I think some of these guys just had to get a little used to the feel of this tire. It was obviously a good, safe, fast race tire, but the guys adapted to it. Took a little bit of time, I guess, and but they put on a good show with it.
Congratulations. Thanks for chatting with us. Head to Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Beginning of the show, we asked, would it be brilliant success or bitter disappointment for Bobby Labonte because of their inconsistency? Today, success.
And ESPN's coverage of the Pepsi 400 from Michigan Speedway, being brought to you by the more than 2,700 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By State Fair, the corn dog of NASCAR and proud sponsor of car number 30. And by UAW GM, assembly line to finish line, teamwork wins. And the winner today is Bobby Labonte. Here's our McDonald's winner circle with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Bobby with one finger in the air and a fist to the crowd as they respond. What an effort from 19th to 1st. And you took a gamble this morning and made a bunch of changes on the car, and they apparently paid off.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jimmy Maycar, Derek Jones, those two guys, we racked our brains last night and this morning, started about 7 o'clock, and we made a lot of changes. And Butch, Stevie, Mark, and all the guys worked on the cars. Gary, Luke, they worked on it. I mean, we didn't have a good race car yesterday. We didn't have a good race car Friday, but these guys did a great job. And this Interstate Pontiac worked great today. We never do change the thing on it, so maybe we should just roll the dice more often. We seem like we're better off, but they did a great job, and Goodyear had a great tire today.
I heard you talking to the spotter. What a great seat you have for that battle between the 3 and the 24. That was worth watching for a while.
Well, I mean, I guess that means it was a better race in the springtime. It wasn't as much stuff going on like that. But, yeah, I mean, I tell you what, it was tough. This tire is a little different characteristic, and we couldn't really get you can get a run on them, but then all of a sudden you get a push or loose or something like that. And I just had a run on them, and I got in front of the 3 car. I don't know if I ever let off in turn 1 because I needed to get in front of him, because I knew if he ever got on my right rear, he's going to come back by me. So I got in front of him and then set sail for a little bit, and then the 24 kept coming there.
Hey, congratulations. Go celebrate.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody.
Bobby Labonte's 4th win in 1999. His 11th career victory comes here in the Pepsi 400. Bob?
Jeff Gordon sets his 7th straight Michigan top 5. Tony Stewart gets his career best finish in 3rd position. The yellow arrows indicate the drivers that led. Jeff Gordon led the most laps, 73 today. Bobby Labonte, en route to victory, led 46 laps. That was fun today, guys.
It really was. There's 16 drivers, as you can see, finished on the lead lap, and a lot of drivers finished just 1 lap down.
Yes, Dale Earnhardt Jr., once again, a good run today. Bill Elliott had some trouble in the pits, got him a lap down. And we see the guys that really struggled today. Kenny Irwin just a few laps in the end having an engine problem.
And the points now, the margin again goes up for Dale Jarrett. It's 314, his advantage over Mark Martin. Bobby Labonte now only 347 behind as Gordon moves to 4th. Stewart moves up to 5th. Jeff Burton down 2 positions to 6th in the point standings. He's 529 behind. An absolutely great race here at Michigan this afternoon as Bobby Labonte and the Joe Gibbs team win the Pepsi 400. We have more competition for you this coming weekend. We'll start it off with qualifying at Bristol on Friday night and the Busch race. and then the race from Bristol next Saturday night. Coming up next here on ESPN, Shop Talk. Stay tuned for that. Again, our congratulations to Bobby Labonte. So long from Michigan Speedway, as we invite you to celebrate another moment in ESPN history.